Your powers of observation do you credit, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Millionth show. I'm your host, James, joined once again by my co-host, Henry. Unfortunately, Tom, who's been a guest with us for the Bond series, won't be joining us today. He's sick, so we hope and pray he'll be better soon.
Yeah, may all
Um,
your allergies be swiftly cured.
exactly. Me and Henry, obviously, we're just going to soldier on. We did Batman, we did Saw, so it's going to be a bit strange without Tom for James Bond, but we'll manage. Um, Moonraker. What is good is that obviously this is a film that we all love, so it's not like we have. In fact, you know what? I mean, I watched it last night, and as we were watching, I'm thinking, man, where am I going to rank this? This in if when I'm in a certain mood, this could go first. I know. I think you said it's your girlfriend's favorite Bond film as well, right?
Yeah, it is.
And for you, I mean, this is just
I mean,
like I
I
think
mean, I
everyone
like
loves
this
this
is
one, right?
definitely like this is something you can just put on like in more or less any mood. It might, unless if you're like depressed. Actually, yeah, this is yeah. If you're depressed, just put on Moonraker. You'll be happy at the end.
If you're depressed, you watch Taxi Driver, you watch Joker, you watch
You
Blade Runner
watch, yeah,
2049,
you watch
you watch
the
Drive, you watch Clockwork Orange, mate. You don't watch
you
Moonraker,
listen
man.
to you listen to Spectre by Radiohead. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could watch Spectre. Yeah.
Yeah, then you'll really kill yourself.
But I don't know. Moonraker for me is just I absolutely love it.
Two
It's
hours of
just
pure fun, really.
yeah. I mean, coming off the back of The Spy Who Loved Me as well, obviously same director, Lewis Gilbert. It's amazing to me how much actually happens in this film. I was watching obviously a documentary, as usual, the making of this film, and I haven't seen Moonraker in quite a while actually. So I was watching the documentary and I was like, damn, yeah, that I forgot that happens. I'm like, damn, there's so much like really famous Bond stuff that happens in this film. So many great moments, and
Hmm.
it's all packed into this 2 hour film. And this is like a real blockbuster for Bond. I think obviously the budget was obviously, it's no secret, it was a bit quite big, so they were able to go and like do some really big things. I just love how um exotic this film is. I mean, obviously a lot of people are, oh yeah, it's the one where Bond's in space, but actually that's
Yeah,
only about the last 10-15 minutes of the
yeah,
film.
and as well, like that's often used as like a way to like kind of discredit this film.
Yeah,
The way that they go about putting him in space isn't that ridiculous. Like,
it's not at all. I actually think the plot is really good in this film. I was watching it and I was like, yeah, I mean, Drax is based as fuck, man, when you think
hmm,
about it.
he's
Like
got
Bond should
good,
have just let him do it, man, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like I said
But we'll get
before,
into that a
Drax.
bit later. But I think the plot is really good, actually.
Yeah,
There's only a couple. I mean, unfortunately, it's just I think the only thing that doesn't really hold up are obviously the actual lasers, like the space battle, that like with the astronauts versus
no,
the.
but even the model work on the
No, the
moon
model work is fantastic. Everything
still looks
holds
good
up really
today.
well. I was really impressed by
The
I
station
think
breaks
it's when
apart.
they're on Earth, when Bond finds Drax's base, and the set design is it's sort of like in a black, really
Yeah,
sci-fi looking,
yeah,
like something straight out of a Kubrick film, like 2001 or
yeah,
something.
because it's like a really naturalistic thing that opens up and it's like this
It's really
controls.
cool, and I'm like, yeah, this ages really well, just except for literally the laser gun like that. That's just stupid. That really like looks cheap and obvious in terms of
Yeah,
like obviously this film was, it's no secret, was inspired by the success of Star Wars,
you
A
think?
New Hope. Um, and this came out in 1979, of course. But I don't. Yeah, like you say, I think people give it a bit too much stick in terms of it being like, oh, it's too like out there. It actually adds up for me. The plot's good. It's not like Bond is just there for shits and giggles. He's actually there on a mission. He's saving the world, like kind of almost literally. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else would he be doing, you know?
I really like it. I think if you're going to do Bond in space, I don't think you could get a more legit way of doing it than this. This is serviceable. This makes sense. He goes up there with an astronaut. He's there like, and the plot itself does make sense to me. Like you
Yeah.
could see, okay, I mean, let's try and put it in today's shoes, right? If Elon, I mean, basically Drax is like Elon Musk and Hitler combined, right? I mean, that's
Oh,
more
but
or less what he is.
to some there is no difference. So
Well, yeah, to some, but if you merge the two, I think that's basically Hugo Drax.
yeah, more or less.
um,
I mean,
and
unless like you're one of those people who believes like he's in space already or something
well,
like
yeah, but if Elon Musk went mental and
that. Like
decided,
he has already.
decided upon like a master race and everything, and then went to space to execute it, he could probably pull it off, and
Nah,
that's what makes
you
me.
wouldn't be able to make it like a station like this like not detectable. Like there's no way you could assemble that on the ground and just send it up bit by bit.
Yeah, I don't think they did assemble it on the ground. They sent it up in parts and then assembled it in
Yeah, no,
space.
but then no, but if you assemble it in parts on the ground, you send the parts up in space. Not everyone will eventually notice.
Yeah, I think there was. I
I
think
mean,
what
in
I
the
would notice
70s,
more so is the Moonraker ships flying to and then connecting with it. So you would just see like 5 or 6 different ships just suddenly stop and attach themselves
yeah.
in a ring around
Oh,
some
well, with the
invisible object,
I mean, in the
right?
70s, you could probably get away with doing radar jamming, but today, like, no way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's true. That's
it's
true.
like you mean, to be entirely honest, like the Moonraker station would just get obliterated by the space junk already. So, like all the stuff that's whizzing around the Earth are
What
like
the
extreme.
debris and shit.
Yeah, because it's a real problem for satellites. They just like get
Oh, right.
demolished like by all this stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I think we can get into all this further when we discuss the film itself. But
yeah,
I think as well, just my relationship with Moonraker. It's always been a positive one. It's just like pure entertainment. I know I always go back to it, like the Bond DVD you take with you to the desert island, man.
yeah.
Moonraker is right up there. This is like for sure in my top 5 Bond films. I think Tom would say the same, and I think probably you as well, right?
No, I would disagree. But anyway,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised. What you was it top 2 for you then, or
Oh
like?
yeah, yeah. It's not one, obviously. You know. No.
But like, where would you put it in your own personal ranking then? Like,
I guess you're gonna have to find out. So,
oh yeah, fair enough. Um,
well, no pun intended. Do you think we should jump into it?
yeah, let's do it. So obviously we start off with the gun barrel sequence, and then we have the Moonraker, well, a Moonraker shuttle being hijacked in midair,
Yeah.
which is a pretty Is that possible?
I don't really know. Like, it doesn't like if you had the only thing that made like little sense to me was the fact that the pilots of the plane for some reason had like a something built into the plane where they could see what the people in the Moonraker shuttle were doing. Like where it has like a they've got like a launch button going off, but why would you have that in a plane?
Yeah.
Like
And
why
why
would
is
you have
and my thing is like, why is the shuttle like fueled up, ready to go? You know?
Yeah, because it would surely be more expensive to carry like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I mean, I
They could have
think
just flown the
what
shuttle.
is effective about that, though, now that I think about it, is that it kind of does force you to. It's like, okay, listen, you've seen the poster, you know what this film's probably gonna
Yeah.
bring you, so you're gonna
Suspend
have to suspend
belief a
your
little
disbelief
bit.
a little bit, okay? Just like bear with us. But I think that's fine, and that's probably quite a good thing to start off the film with, just so you can go, okay, yeah, this sci-fi shit will happen. It might not make 100% sense, but it will be fine.
Yeah, this is what you have to get Bond in space. But they don't. It's not like ever. It's not ever really egregious because I hadn't thought of that. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is like after what my like probably 25th viewing of this film, so Um now we get into possibly my favorite title sequence ever, pre-title
yeah,
sequence. Like, this is right up there with the very, very best of Bond, Roger Moore's Bond.
Hmm.
Obviously he's like in the plane, he's like got his hand stroking the thigh of this, air hostess,
Yeah,
any higher, Mr. Bond, and my ears will pop, you know. And he's just there, man. And then she pulls out the gun on him, and his face changing,
yeah. He's
and
like,
then
I will never fly with anyone else. She says, yeah, you certainly won't.
it's brilliant. And then the pilot comes out and he's like, "Yeah, enjoy your flight, Mr. Bond," you know. And Bond's like,
Fly without the
"A little
controls.
premature, isn't it?" You know, and he's done the eyebrows and everything. It's
Yeah,
just
man. He's like,
perfect.
he's just recalling his time on the set. Just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm doing my own like I'm doing my own partridge right now, but instead of Spy Love Me for Moonraker. I'm not going to narrate the whole film, but I just love this scene. Like the small little details. It just this is perfect. Um, because Bond has a little fight with the pilot. They have like a like you know they have a bit of a scrap. Bond is actually Bond gains the upper hand. He kicks the guy out of the plane, and then out of nowhere, I don't know where he was
Yeah, where
stowing
was he
away.
hiding this whole time?
Yeah, but 7'2" Jaws pops out, and I just love that because can you imagine going to the cinema and Richard Keel's going to be in the film, but like he's just there,
Well,
man.
no,
Like that
not
is
even. I
so
don't know if
Jaws.
they have Richard Keel's name on the poster.
Yeah, they would have done. I mean,
No,
people would have known Jaws is coming back for this film.
maybe. But anyway,
But
to have him there like that quick.
yeah. But either way, it's straight in there, and but it's just Jaws pushes him out.
Yeah.
Then Bond is skydiving, and
Yeah, well, you mean,
unfortunately,
well, not Bond, his stunt
well,
double
yeah,
skydiving.
this. I didn't think it was too obvious until I like must have accidentally paused the film at the wrong time once, and I'm like, oh shit, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Um,
To be fair,
but
for the
the
fact they had to get.
documentary I watched on how they made the film, it just what's annoying about that documentary is about 40 minutes long, and it spends about 2 minutes talking about each stunt when it could really spend about half an hour talking about each stunt because they don't go they could go into so much detail. It's just enough to go. But how did you do it? Like I know you did it, but like show me a bit more. They filmed this shit for real, man. That's what is the best thing about Bond. Actually, it's funny that I was talking to a girl yesterday who I know, right, not very Sigma of me, but I was talking to this girl and I was because it was about Well, I just happened to. She was like, "Oh, what are you watching?" I was at work and I was like, "Oh, Moonraker, a documentary about Moonraker, Bond film." She didn't even know what Moonraker was. That's a Bond film, and the 11th Bond film. I said, and she was like, "Oh, I thought there were only like 4 or 5," and I'm like,
Oh, man.
face palm straight away.
What you don't
Like,
know.
no, I gave a brief little history lesson.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a brief one. Yeah.
And then, yeah, it definitely wasn't like an autistic 15-minute rant. But
15-hour
she
run.
went, and then she's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, Bond goes to like, oh, yeah. And I said, oh, this is one of my favorites. Bond goes to Brazil and Venice, etc. And
Space.
she's like, oh, like what, for real or just like, and I'm like, no, for real. This is the great thing about Bond. Everything you see in a Bond film is like real. It's authentic, It's not
Yeah.
like it's never green screen jobs. It's never, they're just really, really top filmmakers, like top of the game. And everyone there's there just to try and do something. And they're always trying to push the limits and trying to do something. Okay, we've done this.
Different.
Let's try
Yeah.
and push this now. And that's the whole point of Bonds, just trying to outdo itself, not just its peers, not just its competitors in like the film industry, like in cinema, but also itself, and just trying to outdo each other. So then that's what's brilliant for me. Like, and you got all these famous stunts, and they did them for real. There's no bullshit. Like, there's no, oh yeah, we did this in a green screen room in some
Yeah.
warehouse somewhere. They did this skydive for real. They did the ski jump in The Spy Love Me
Yeah.
for
For
real
real.
with the Union Jack parachute.
They killed Sean Connery in You Only Live Twice. For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Uh,
resurrected Baron Samedi,
I mean, later on in film, I mean, the stunts in this film are incredible. We'll get to them later on, actually, but
Yeah. I
because
mean, yeah,
there's some.
literally, I mean, even to an extreme extent in some of the earlier Bond films where like nearly kill stunt doubles and
Yeah,
kill
but
one of them.
this that continues in this film, but I'll get to them.
Right.
I want to talk about the skydive first because, oh man, it's so the music, especially when Jaws pops up. But I love the music. It's so just this classic sort of adventure, just adventure music. This is like just perfect Bond adventure music. Roger Moore, you've obviously got the close-ups of him, doing the little. I love
Yeah.
it. He takes the parachute off the pilot, puts it on himself. Pilot fucks off. Jaws comes and he's like trying to bite his leg, and then he pulls his parachute, and then oh man, and then Jaws obviously like flapping like a bird falls into
Yeah,
the
yeah, like he tries to pull his parachute,
octopusy
just
tent.
rips off the cord entirely. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. The only thing that I think is like hurts it a bit is it's like a little bit. It gets a bit too ridiculous for me when he's like got like it's got like the circus music and he's flapping around like a bird.
yeah.
Like even
That
you got to admit
yeah,
that.
that was a little
I,
bit
I
silly, but it is
I think it
Jaws,
was
so it's not like
maybe.
if you did that with like Odd Job or something, yeah, it wouldn't work. But like because it's Jaws, I think you can allow for a bit of comedic.
Yeah, I think the only reason they had to do that was because they had to have something going while they're playing circus music to make sure the audience knows, yeah, he's actually falling into a circus, so that's how he survived, remember? Which is like,
You think?
Well, yeah, because obviously he falls into a circus, like,
Yeah.
you know,
But that's quite
transformation.
obvious without there being the music. But I think the music doesn't really take. It's just it's ridiculous anyway. The guy's falling like 30,000 feet
Yeah.
probably to like like nothing is saving him. But because it's Jaws, like okay, yeah,
Yeah,
he
because
falls
it's
in a
Jaws.
tent.
They
It's
have to be
fine
like,
in a
yeah, I
big
know
tent.
Jaws wouldn't survive 30,000 feet, but maybe he will with. I mean, to be fair, like they're having people who survive without parachute from like actual like commercial airliners, like someone from Yugoslavia did. So
No way.
yeah, seriously, you can look it up. Like, but obviously not in the style like this. They were like
But how
attached
does
to a
that
jet.
work? Like, do you just like fall? Because you know me, man. I've seen lots of videos of people falling off, like falling out of buildings, like on drugs and stuff. Like, okay, I know if you're like on lots of drugs, like cocaine or something, yeah, you can survive a good fall because your heart just doesn't stop, right? But if you, I mean, that's how. Let's say like a seven-story building, eight-story building, or maybe even taller. But like out of a plane, are you serious?
Yeah,
Someone
I'm
survived
serious.
without
You can look
parachute?
this stuff up. She was attached to. I think it's because she was attached to one of the plane seats that that kind of saved her a bit. But
Really?
I mean,
But
yeah,
surely that breaks every bone in your body if
yeah,
you're
she
like
had most of
paralyzed
her
for
bones
life.
broken by it, but she was still like alive.
Mm, yeah. Well, okay. Well,
It's
anyway, it's
just
Jaws, man. So it's all
yeah,
right. I just love how simple this is, but just how ambitious it is, and just how out there, man. What is great just about this opening scene? It just really tees you up nicely for the rest of the film.
yeah.
That's what I love.
I mean,
Um, we
but
have
how do you
the
feel about the song it goes into, Moonraker?
Uh, not really my favorite. It's
Yeah,
Shirley Bassey, obviously. Once again, it's okay. It's pretty one note, so
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think
I don't hate it. It's not annoying or anything. It's not bad. It's just like meh, you know.
yeah, when they have to somehow make Moonraker into a song, of all things, like it's like almost as bad as like when you have to do it with Thunderball. Like, what can you really do with that?
I don't know. I personally think Moonraker is just the coolest name
It
ever.
is quite a cool name, to be fair.
Moonraker. How fucking cool is that, man? You
Mm,
know, like that's just a cool word. I like they use it a lot in this film as well, like the
yeah,
Moonraker. That's great, and it's obviously the title of an actual Ian Fleming novel as well, Bond novel. So that's always cool. Um, anyway, so after the song, Bond goes and meets MQ and the Ministry of Defence, given the briefing, and he's also given what is my okay, like
if you could have any Bond gadget, this
yes,
would be the
if
one to
I
have.
could have any Bond gadget, I would have this. Not because my life is, constantly in danger, but um, if I was Bond, or I don't know, I just think this gadget is the best ever Bond gadget because of
Yeah, because it's
just
quite
how it
subtle.
saves his bacon twice. Like really, literally, like I remember watching, and you know why? I remember watching this film as a kid when I don't know how, like 8, 9 years old. And I remembered like because I never think Bond's going to die. I've never thought that in any Bond film. I never sit there thinking, oh yeah, James Bond's going to die now. I've never, and certainly up until Moonraker, never thought that. And obviously we didn't watch the films in chronological order when we were kids, but
Yeah,
when I was watching Moonraker, I really thought Bond was going to die twice, and in both of those occasions, this gadget saves him.
mm,
That's what makes it the best gadget for me. I really think like he's fucked. Like there's no way. I know there's an hour and a half left of this film. I know there's like this film. I know there's a sequel, and I know Bond comes, but Bond's going to die. How does
yeah,
he actually
yeah.
get
There
out
are
of this?
times like it's good when like you're watching a film and you really, I mean, despite the fact you know all this, like you genuinely don't know how they're going to get out of a situation.
But that's the thing, Henry. I actually remember watching this for the first time when I was a kid, and I remember I remember that emotion of thinking Bond's going to die. Like he's
Mm,
fucked. He's cornered. Um, and then he pulls out this,
yeah,
and it's just brilliant. And the introduction of it's funny as well. Obviously on the
yeah.
uh,
Shoots on the horse.
yeah, that's quite a famous painting, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know exactly for sure because only sort of like a millisecond. It might have been Charles the First. I'm not sure. So,
yeah. Well, you should know that, shouldn't you?
well, I mean, if I had time to inspect it, maybe.
But yeah, in terms of gadgets, we'll come back to it. To be fair, okay. So then he gets a helicopter tour to go and check out Drax's gaff.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
given a
I
tour
like
by very beautiful Corinne.
they were
Um,
like was there having like a conversation about like how he's like bought so much stuff, like well, what he doesn't want, he doesn't own, but then like he tries to buy the Eiffel Tower or some shit. Like they
yeah,
like they're like I quite like this little bit they're going about, just like to really set up like how he is as a person without even meeting
Yeah,
him first.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
For me, um, I don't know. I can't. I mean, I'll have to. Obviously, we'll watch the future Bond films, but I really can't remember an introduction, or even in cinema in general, there aren't many better villain introductions for me than this. There's something about this which is so beautiful. The choice of music.
yeah,
One of Chopin's. Um, I think it's called Raindrop Prelude,
yeah.
and it's just. I don't know what it is for me. I mean,
It's
you
the
have
it's
them
like
talking
they
about
took
him,
the
and then
note from
he's there, and you have just the music and the camera work. He's just in this beautiful mansion, and the
yeah.
actor himself.
They had a
It's
real
just.
good location to like film
It's
onto this.
yeah. It's. I think just in terms of just a really simple but beautiful and really like really intriguing villain introduction. Just to, his first frame on the screen is
Yeah,
just amazing. I love it. It's
because like the only thing, two things really. Well, actually, the only thing that kind of ruins this for me is the fact you can clearly tell he's not playing the piano. Like,
oh really?
yeah, you don't see
I
it.
don't know. You ruined it for me, man.
No, no, no.
I
But the
hope
other thing
I
is,
hope that doesn't ruin it for me because I go back and watch this clip a lot and I've never noticed that.
yeah, the only thing, I mean, the other thing is you can explain that away actually by, saying it's like maybe a bit of his ego. He has a recording playing in the piano and he's just pretending, like.
I don't know. That's I've
But
never actually noticed that. So
they must have like taken a note from Lee from like the Stromberg book and like they thought, well, because I really liked that about Stromberg, the fact they have like a lot of classical music,
yeah.
more like his theme,
Hmm.
and that they brought it back kind of a bit for Drax is
Hmm.
pretty good. I like the intro for it. So
It's funny because what you just mentioned there reminds me of Seven, obviously, and
yeah,
that
really,
it yeah, and Seven has the best like villain reveal of all time, hands fucking down, man. But anyway, I'm not going to spoil that because if you haven't seen Seven, ladies and gentlemen, like you have my permission to die. You have my permission to stop this podcast and just watch Seven, like
yeah,
especially if it's raining or something, man. Just watch. Anyway, so Drax is playing the piano, like we said. Bond introduces himself. They have a cup of tea and and
yeah. I love like the English French kind of like
yeah,
subtle like
right.
voice of hatred, like where he's like going on about yeah, I'm good. I engage in like the only thing that your country is like given to advanced civilization after being cheap.
I love I love how eloquent and well spoken Drax is, and it's what the funny thing about because obviously it's a French actor
Yeah,
and character, but the funny thing about like when you have someone that speaks just perfect English, but it's their second language, they
yeah,
have a way of expressing themselves which a native can never do.
yeah,
It's strange. They just have a way of manipulating the vocabulary into just expressing something in just such a unique way that a native would never think to do. But Hugo Drax is just a master of that. I
so
love just every line he says is just it's just fantastic. And I don't know. It's
yeah. For me, he is definitely the best part of this whole film. Like,
really
yeah,
wow. That's a
I
big
just
show.
like
I
every
think
time you see him, like, because
yeah, I think he's fantastic,
and
but
the
I
best
think
part
he's
is
part of an excellent film. There's so many great stuff in this.
it's kind of funny as well because for such an over the top film, he himself is never like he never does. I
Mm,
mean, he only raises his voice once.
mm,
But he's like kind of almost like understated. Like he just like
yeah,
says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna, I think you should leave immediately, like terminate your employment." And then
yeah,
like he doesn't even have to like say like that means like literally like yeah, you'll get mauled to death. But
yeah. That's really important for a film like Moonraker. The fact they have such a grounded. Not he. I mean, he's not grounded, but just like you say, the
to
film's
pull it back
very
a
out
bit,
there, and you just have a villain who has this like very out there plan. His whole scheme is like mental, but
yeah,
the individual himself is very low key
yeah.
and very
It's like
reserved, and that's just brings another level of menace. And even the way he's groomed, with his
yeah,
beard and his hair, he's just so good. I love
impeccable.
him, man. Hugo
And
Drax,
also
yeah.
his drip is pretty good. I won't lie. Like what's Drax's outfits in general
Mm.
throughout this film.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
like I do respect some good villain drip. So
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. But what makes it for me particularly is his facial hair and his hair itself.
Yeah, true. That's
He's
what you think of.
just he just gives off that vibes of just like, yeah, the the billionaire who's just just got,
Perfectly
I don't know, the
mannered.
money's, I don't know, he's got,
Yeah.
yeah, bit
And I
too much
think
money
the
maybe.
thing, like another thing I like in the scene, he's like talking to Bond.
Mm,
I mean, like he obviously knows as a secret agent, like because they already told him,
yeah.
because he's supposed to be on their side. But he's like feeding his dogs, but then like
Mm,
only when he clicks his fingers, they all like go like, which I just like that little detail, like he,
mm,
despite the fact they're like
mm.
killing machines, he still has authority over them,
Yeah, those two Dobermans. That's just yeah, exactly. And he,
Good villain pet.
tries to press Bond into a cucumber sandwich. I was a little bit offended that he turned down the cup of tea, if I'm honest. Like I thought, God,
Yeah,
Bond never has a cup of tea, man. Just have a cuppa, it's all right, even if it is French. Yeah, and the cucumber sandwich. I mean, you can pass on that if you like, but you know, he literally goes, no, nothing, thanks. Like, come on, Bond. Um, Anyway, so yeah, the dogs obviously. Oh, and also actually, when Bond walks in and Drax just has these two like beautiful ladies there as well, just listening to his music as well. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
um. So then Bond goes and meets Dr. Holly Goodhead.
yeah.
Just the
Because
most absurd. I mean, Pussy Galore's obviously never going to be quite topped, but Goodhead is not really far off either, is it, on the scale? Um, what do we think of Goodhead as a character?
well,
As a bongo. She's quite unique, actually, I think. But
I
I
mean,
mean,
this is the thing. I think she's pretty good in the fact that she kind of, and Roger Moore obviously plays along with this as well. The kind of, I'm not like putting to bed, but kind of like in not like a very like overt way, but like calling out a lot of his behavior, sort of less gentlemanly behavior, perhaps.
mhm,
Um, like I mean, obviously, like this is like late 70s now, so it's not the same as when Sean Connery was Bond, for example. Like Bond isn't like going around smacking women like constantly. Um, I think like this is like I think a step forward in terms of Bond girls, but she also like she has like actually quite a lot to do in this film. I mean,
mhm,
I think so,
mhm.
and especially near at the end where like her expertise comes into play, like as an astronaut. Um, and I liked like because she gets to pull like a few like cards on them, being like, oh, so you're trained to be an astronaut? She's like, I'm already fully trained, like, um, or like even though some of it is like blanking, saying like, oh yeah, oh I've got to chair this like massive
Yeah,
like important speech thing. He's like, oh, okay, when do you or something like she ends up saying like, "Oh, I am the one doing the speech,"
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I think, yeah, the actress is very good. She definitely holds her own. She doesn't take shit from Bond. She falls for him quite easily
yeah, true,
when it comes to it. But I mean, and I did say in the last episode with Anya Amasova, I think that was a big turning point for Bond women and Goodhead. While her name is ridiculous,
yeah,
um, I think she is pretty convincing. I mean, because we come to in later films, we have like a nuclear physicist who also looks like a Playboy model, and you're like,
yeah,
yeah, that's not happening.
yeah,
Um, Whereas, yeah, I buy this, and she doesn't
yeah,
look too young either. I mean, because the other thing, obviously, Roger Moore's aging gracefully, we can say, but it's still, the age gap will be obvious if they cast an actress that's too young
yeah,
opposite him. So I think that's also some smart casting as well. And actually, the way she was cast is pretty. I mean, it's in the documentary how like, yeah, she just sat next to the producer on the plane or whatever, and then like got the job, sort of
yeah. And then
thing.
it ends like, yeah, he got the idea when two people fell out of the plane and started fighting.
Yeah, but yeah, I think she's a good character. I like they give her some important stuff to do, and yeah,
Yeah,
she makes a difference, and I think that's the most important thing at
yeah.
this stage, certainly with Bond women.
The only thing that I didn't like with her character and it was like her dynamic with Bond that I didn't understand. It felt like they thought that it was still like Triple X for some reason from the previous film. This whole thing about, oh, I don't really trust you. Well, I don't really trust you, and it's like, you're both on the same side here. Like she works for the CIA, he works for MI6. Like, well, I don't know why they have this like thing they keep going on about where they don't trust each other, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, that is a little bit cringe. I think it's a bit. It's meant to be a bit like flirty and cheesy as well. So you know,
But yeah, I just
but I know where you're coming
I
from.
never
Yeah,
got that. It's just like, why? Why did they
yeah.
bring this up? But it's not like a deal breaker.
You
It's
know,
just
now I'm thinking about it, I'm surprised they didn't somehow try and pop, at least name drop Felix Leiter in this film. But
yeah.
anyway,
But
so he meets Goodhead. Oh yeah, now okay, this is great, man. The centrifugal force scene.
yeah.
I love this. What about you?
Well, I mean, well, I was watching this with mum, but she said something quite funny. Like this reminded her of in Thunderball, where it's like the like more advanced version of him on the like the back braking machine. Or
Nah, you're joking, man.
I think it's just because like he looked. I think it was just because like obviously when you're being subjected to so many G's, like you're not going to look too good. But I mean that's just going to be the case for everyone. I didn't mind it so much. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that Drax would just like kill a British agent on his like in his facility, and it wouldn't just be suspicious like because Stromberg always made a point of, let them get back to land and then kill them,
Hmm.
because, and he does it multiple times throughout this, where like, if he killed Bond at this point or other point, it would just bring like so much suspicion upon him when for no reason. Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm beginning to realize? I suspend my disbelief a lot for this
yeah.
film.
The thing
You've
is,
like you already with this like we're not even that far into the film and you've already brought up some great points which I never thought about
well,
because
the thing,
when I watch this film I'm so just like I surrender all logic. I'm like I don't care as long as it makes 50% sense. I can accept
yeah.
that.
The other,
I'm very like I'm very open minded with this film and because I don't know. This scene for me, I've never thought of it. I've never thought of it as anything other than like a really tense, great moment. And what I like about it in particular, it kind of for me demonstrates in like a numerical sense of how Bond is kind of like not superhuman, but
how
he is
tough he is,
like
yeah.
yeah, better like much
Because,
better than average
yeah,
because
because
he
the
goes
average
okay, yeah,
person,
most people pass out at 7 Gs. An 81-year-old can take 3 Gs, and 12 would be fatal, right?
yeah, a 70-year-old can take 3 Gs.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
and
have a 70-year-old around when you need one.
yeah, and then yeah, because Roger Moore wasn't like a
Yeah, he
million
wasn't
miles off
far
that age
off.
himself, to be fair. Um, and yeah, he goes, and I just what I like about the scene, it's just really out of the box. It's just what
Yeah.
is this centrifugal? I have no idea if something like that is real, but I totally believe it. Like I'm so like, yeah, that's
Well,
cool.
they
Yeah,
probably have to
astronaut
train
training,
people for it.
sure.
So
Sorry.
they probably have to train people for it. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't doubt for a second something like, but because it's in the Bond, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's
I
cool. I
like the
don't
set
question.
design of it
What I'm
though.
saying
That
is,
is
I don't
quite cool.
question it at all. It might not exist. That might not exist, like in that form. But
I
I'm
do,
like, yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I do
Um,
really like the design of it though. Like the set
yes,
looks
that I
really
just wanted
cool.
to mention. Obviously, once again, the production designer Ken Adams, just an absolute genius.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they kept him so long. So
Yeah, I think he
he,
worked on 12 or 11 Bond films in total,
yeah,
and I never really appreciated his influence that much until I started watching these documentaries, and then I start noticing them in the films, and I'm like, wow, this guy
yeah,
really, really makes a huge difference in what he does because these locations and stuff. Because obviously, when I'm younger, so I'm more focusing on Bond himself or like the
yeah.
henchman, the villain, the baddies, the gadgets. But then when you take a step back and you're
See
like,
the
wow,
full
actually, look
picture.
at the room he's in right now, and it's like the costumes, those kind of details just
Yeah,
fantastic. And in
yeah,
this film, really, Ken Adams really pulled the stops out as well. I
yeah.
mean,
The
we'll get
thing
to more
is
stuff.
that like it's true that like you have to suspend your disbelief for like the Drax could get away with killing him at like his
Yeah,
location. But the thing is that I do like that Drax actually brings up later that people often make fun of like like over like villains trying to give them like an
yeah,
over exaggerated death. I just love the bit where he's like you're consistently like avoiding me giving you an amusing death.
yeah,
Like I just love that because like with a
yeah,
guy like this who's this psychotic. I could totally imagine he just like is like obsessed with giving people the most ridiculous deaths possible, just to like
Yeah,
humiliate them even more.
yeah. I agree with you. I love that line. It's just I think it just works on so many levels.
The way that he
Because first of all,
delivers it
it's
as
like the
well.
writers giving a finger to all those lazy critics. They're like, oh, well, you're giving Bond a chance to escape. Yes, but why is that only Bond? That happens in literally every you name it, man. In like any big like franchise film, you name it, the hero is given a chance to like escape
Yeah, or
every time.
like
It's not
why
just
would you?
killed on the spot like it could be, man.
Yeah,
You
it
could
would just
name
be boring.
anyone you like, and that is the case, right? So it's not just exclusive to Bond, although it does happen a lot with Bond.
Yeah,
But secondly, yeah, it's also like you say, it's displaying like how psychotic he is. And thirdly, it's as well, it's just yeah, um like why not go for like something a bit different, a bit
and
elaborate, and
the
and
thing
this
as
is
well for that line, I just loved his delivery of it. Like he says it with such like
yeah,
understated hatred for him.
yeah, it's brilliant. Um
Maybe it's just
But
because
yeah,
it's
like I say, I just what I like about this is it, like I say, it displays that Bond is he's not superhuman, but he is like the peak physical sort of human being
yeah
that you can get
somehow.
mentally as well.
That's something you have to suspend your disbelief for, like, because for Roger Moore, like,
Yeah, but this really helps me do that. As a kid, yeah, when I was watching this film, this is one of those scenes that really defines Bond for me.
he was
Actually, this
taking
has a
like 14 G's or something,
yeah.
like,
Honestly, this actually this scene really helps define Bond for me as a character and as like the actual his actual physical capabilities. Yes, it's a 50-odd-year-old man, but from the evidence that I've seen
yeah.
in this
I'm
in this
actually
scene,
I'm just gonna quickly look at how much G's like a human can take before they die. Like
well, Goodhead said 12. It would be fatal.
20, she said,
No,
right?
12.
Oh well, 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 I
But
don't
that's
know.
what I mean. Bond nearly, and this is the
He
thing
goes
for me,
well over.
because
It's
obviously
like
everyone knows he was using a hairdryer to create the effects on his face, which again,
I
I'm
didn't know
totally buying
actually.
it. I never sit there and think, oh, that looks stupid or silly, which perhaps some people do. I love it, and like I
Yeah,
said, because
you're
I just
never
have
gonna
the
look good
early
at
memory of like
20 seconds. Yeah.
thinking, really genuine thinking that Bond's gonna die here. There's no way out. He's
Yeah.
like strapped into this thing. He's belted in. There's no way for him to even move his hands or anything. And then out of nowhere, you just see this, and they do a really clever, like little, just a frame of like Q and everything.
Because he has like a flat. He's like there's like life's kind of flashing before him.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And they're so clever. It's such a little thing. And what I like it is a little nod to Q finally as well for like
yeah, because he thinks of Q as well.
he
Like
thinks of Q and the horse's asses
he's
as
not
well.
thinking of any of the girls like pumped and dumped throughout the years. He just remembers Q. Boy's been there for me. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. And then chew, and then that says, and the music as well. It's just,
Yeah. I love
it's so dramatic. I
I
love
love
it.
you get like a frame of Drax's henchman like looking really sad like
What's
oh
his
he
name?
just
I wanted to say Chang, but it's not correct, is it?
I think it
Um,
might be but like they give him like a really generic
yeah, yeah.
name
Oh
but
no, his name is Chang. Okay,
I love how
I just fact checked that it is Chang. Okay.
he's just like he's
Um,
like Bond has ruined the best part of this guy's day, like yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't usually get to kill people in the G-force machine, but
The
yeah.
thing I do question is like, okay, why is this guy just allowed to, this random this
But the thing
random
is,
like
the only thing is that
martial artist is just there like on the buttons. Goodhead does nothing about it. She's like called away
yeah, because
conveniently
while
and
she
then
was pulled
returns
away,
conveniently.
but he
But
like the only thing that I don't get is he's always going around in this like blue gown with like yellow tie, like he's
yeah,
not
that's
going
just his
out.
drip, man.
Yeah, but like that's one thing I don't get is like he just does not fit in at all
Well, no, that's true.
in a space facility like this. Like later on maybe, but still.
But anyway, I don't know. I absolutely love this scene. I think it's a really, for me, like I say, it is a defining moment in Bond where it's just like, okay, this just showed me that he's like more than your average, like you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, he's
Because he does
beyond
go
like
well. He goes beyond 12. He reaches 13 or 14 Gs, I think,
yeah,
doesn't he? So
yeah,
he's like nearly dying, and do you know what I love as well? Actually, before we move on, is when he gets steps out of it. He's
yeah. He's really
he is absolutely shaken and stirred. You see like the sweat on his face, and obviously Roger was fine, but like the acting there is
yeah.
really convincing. He really looks like he can't breathe properly. He's like leaning on the
He's not even
wall.
saying
His
anything.
hair is everywhere. He's still like got his suit and everything, but
Yeah,
he's just like he looks like he's really just like nearly
been
like
through the
met
washing
his
machine.
maker, sort of thing. I love that.
Yeah.
He really sells it. That's top acting for me, actually. You know, like top acting.
Yeah, the fact is like not a word is spoken from him. I
Mm,
like because
mm,
like he conveys. This might be where the distrust thing came from because like
mm,
he was in like Doctor Goodhead's hands and she like nearly got him killed because of
mm.
this. He didn't even
Interesting.
know if that was intentional or not.
Yep.
And like just like his look, like because like she tries to help him and then he like refuses it and so on. But anyway,
Yeah. Then we get on to probably, for me, probably this scene is always just a bit like I don't really like this scene much. Bond seduces Corinne, and
oh
she just spills the beans in
yeah,
terms
well,
of like.
she's like so bait when it comes to where the safe is. He's like, "Is
Yeah,
there a safe
I
in this
didn't
room?"
like this, to be honest, because it's a bit too easy for Bond, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's very cliche. It's just like, okay, it's kind of like where I feel like this is like one of the last scenes they filmed, and they're just like, yeah, okay, let's just get this done quickly,
Yeah, I
sort of
wish
thing.
they kind of, for this, like, he seduces enough people throughout the film. Like,
Mm.
they could have just dedicated the entire thing to him searching Drax's study, really.
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
if it
Like
was
you've
him,
already
like,
got a lot of beautiful women in this film, all right? I think this one is just one too many, and especially, I mean, obviously she becomes the sacrificial lamb later,
yeah,
and Bond doesn't even know that she does. He doesn't. I mean, it's not he doesn't care. He doesn't even know,
and
so
he
that he
never
has a
finds out,
choice
does
to care or not. She dies, giving away like a token little secret. I mean, ultimately, her sacrifice saves the world, kind of.
he? Yeah,
But yeah, I just this is for me the epitome of like one of those
yeah,
tragic Bond sacrificial lambs that just has no impact on him,
yeah. The
which I
only,
think is bad. And this is my personal criticism of Bond films. When you have sacrificial lamb, and he doesn't care enough about it. It just
yeah,
spends like 10 seconds looking a bit down, and then he's fine. He's like moving on.
yeah. Because like,
Which I suppose in a way you'd have to do if you're a secret agent.
yeah,
In
but
fairness,
as well, the
but
only thing this serves, and at least it serves some purpose other than moving the plot along, is that it serves to make like paint Drax as even more like
oh yeah.
psychotic. Like,
But I just want to see a bit of like grief from Bond.
yeah,
It reminds me of in The Boys. When Butcher's going to Hugh, he's like, "Where's your rage?" He's like screaming at him. It's like, "Where's your anger?" That's what I'm like. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I want to see that moment where he sees someone's died. He's like, "I need to kill this guy, man. He's killed
yeah,
this son of
exactly.
a bitch."
I mean, that's the thing as well. Like, it's not like it was something they had to learn over time because even in Doctor No, like, Bond
Yeah,
brings up, like, they didn't just forget about Quarrel. It's like, I want to get revenge for, like the person who killed Strangways and Quarrel, like, you know,
yeah.
it's not hard just to name drop, the people who've died along the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. At least name drop them, man. It's like. But anyway,
Yeah.
um. So yeah. By the way, while while Bond was seducing Corinne, you get Chang being a peeping tom there as well. So
Hiding in the shadows.
yeah, very
Not very
strange.
well, but
Um. Anyway, then we get to another like
great
classic. I
scene.
love this scene, man. Bond, and Drax clay pigeon shooting, and Drax sends a guy up the tree to shoot Bond, and
Yeah,
then Bond, I think this might be a Sigma edit material
yeah,
waiting to happen. To be honest, like Goldfinger, this is one of the most Sigma moments
yeah,
in the whole franchise, man. Bond, Drax sets him up to die, and Bond shoots, and oh, you missed, Mr. Bond, and then the guy falls out the tree. He goes, "Did I?"
yeah,
I
exactly.
love it. I love it.
Because
It's just
it's so
and
good as well, this scene,
the
because it's
acting
like
from both of them, man. The looks on their faces. I love it, man.
I love as well the fact that like in this scene, like this is really where it illustrates, cat's out of the bag. Like Drax
Yeah,
knows that Bond knows he's the villain.
yeah,
Bond clearly knows Drax is trying to kill him this whole time. They both know, and yet like they both have guns. They don't fight each other. They just like
yeah,
walk off, just to
yeah,
face each other later on. Like,
yeah,
because they
yeah,
like Bond obviously like he's not gonna blow him up like right now. He has to wait for like just the right time. In the same way, Drax also wants like you know he wants to obviously like exterminate him in like a you know
No, I think
option.
from Drax, it's a huge ego thing because I think he goes, well, okay, even if he knows something, it's not going to stop my plans. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's like I don't think it is bad that he just lets him go. I think it's like
Yeah, I
it
think
just
if
suits
anything,
it
if you want to
even.
read into it that much, I think that's just Drax's ego going, well, he can try what he wants. He's not going to stop me.
Exactly.
You know.
It
Um,
literally wouldn't matter for him so long as no one found out how to turn the radar jammer off. But
hmm. And then obviously Corinne comes in a golf buggy.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, man, she's fired and then killed by the dogs.
yeah. But the only
Just
thing,
like this out of context would be a great moment in like a really tragic sort of drama romance film where she's like running. She's like she's wearing like
and the
this
music as
white sort of
well.
angelic dress. She's running
Yeah.
through the beautiful forest in the sun, and these dogs are coming to kill her and shit. It's like,
I
and the
just think,
music and stuff. It's like
yeah,
very like you're not watching a Bond film all of a
yeah,
sudden. You're watching
exactly.
something completely different.
Yeah. The only thing that I found really fucking dumb, I don't know if it would have helped her, but like Tom has always said this to me as well. Like, if she kind of had like twigged that like the dogs are probably going to be set on her, why wouldn't she just nick the golf cart? You're already
Oh,
fired.
the golf cart won't go quick enough.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's true. To be fair,
The golf cart goes like 4 miles an hour, probably. You know what I
I
mean?
would take that over running at least. Like
No, you genuinely,
GTA, man.
you and me would outrun a golf cart, no problem, mate. And
Yeah,
let alone a
never been
dog.
in a golf cart, so
I don't know what I would do in that situation. That's what makes it so tragic. She can't really climb up a tree. She hasn't got any weapons.
she
That's really
literally can't go
horrible.
to
It's a
this.
really It's probably the most tragic. Well, actually, apart from Tracy.
Yeah.
But even Tracy, kind of like, well, it's like revenge and stuff, man, and whatever. It's Bond's wife. It's
She
kind of
actually hasn't done anything wrong even, because like
Kareen's
it was
just
just a mistake of
genuinely
like
just like literally just the humble pilot, man. And yeah,
yeah,
that kind of
as well as
upsets
like
me. It doesn't upset me, but I'm just like, it just annoys me that Bond doesn't even hear about her death or anything. It's just
yeah,
like so insignificant. That's
yeah, they
sad.
never touched upon it again.
Yeah, but I think we've done a justice on the Millionth show. So then
Yeah,
we
they did.
move on
I
to
also appreciate they didn't have like when the dogs do catch us on like some really over the top scream or something. It's just like it
mm,
just like
that's
the camera pans up to like, and it's also got like bells going off, like which
yeah,
is to signify he's in Venice, but at the same time it's also like
yeah,
funeral bells. Like
yeah. That's true. That's true.
it's not
So then
like
we cut to
super.
Venice. Beautiful location. Bond is there, and he's checking out this glass shop.
Yeah,
And also meets Goodhead there. Goodhead, what a name.
yeah,
Um, so they're sort of reunited. Then they have this sort of boat chase,
mm,
like in the canals, which is great.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember what's the
The
name of
gondola.
that? It's not a canoe or anything. It's
It's a gondola.
gondola.
A gondola. Yeah, a gondola or gondola. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty
Gondola.
sure it's a gondola.
Gondola. Okay.
Or in this case, the bondola, because it literally turns into like a fucking
Yeah. um, I always forget like how cool it is. This is like something out of Live and Let Die, man. Like
the
there's
guy
one.
pops out the coffin, man.
Yeah, that's
So
really cool.
extra. Like, why? Who
So
thought
over the
of that?
top, yeah, so over the top. Especially when like there's a guy in the boat with a machine gun who could just
Yeah, literally,
end
just
the
like
Bond
go past the
franchise there
screen.
and then. But they're just so over the top. It's so stupid, but it's funny, man. Um,
Exactly.
and then yeah, you got the coffin, and then obviously Bond. There's this chase. There's like the coffin obviously gets knocked off as well,
Yeah, it's a
and
random later on shot where a guy like throws a
yeah, the
cigarette after him.
cigarette. Yeah, you need to quit smoking, pal.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, and then Bond, yeah, he's being chased, and he goes into Venice Square like it inflates. Roger
Yeah,
Moore, by
yeah,
the
yeah.
way,
It turns into like a hovercraft, man. Like,
I love it. I love it. It's so
so
like silly, but yeah, I love it,
it's
man.
this is probably the most like silly moment in all of Bond, but it's
No,
like
I don't think so. I think this is
when you think
no.
of it
There are
though,
sillier moments than this, but this is up there.
this is but this is like they some like because it's Roger Moore, man. Like they have the like he's just going through the square. Yeah, you get like you get like the guy like who's like drinking the beer like like
He's the recurring guy, same guy
yeah
from Spy
yeah.
Love Me
It's
Bond.
like you have him,
Yep,
but then you have like five other
that's
people
okay as well.
in
That's okay. We
the
can
thing.
accept
No, no,
that.
no,
I
it's
think.
fine. You even have the double taking pigeon. Like
Yeah,
people make fun of this scene, but like even as someone who like I'm more of a fan of serious Bond, I can still enjoy this. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I wish it was Timothy Dalton like shooting someone like in Venice Square, but like you
and
know
this is the thing. It's just something only Roger Moore can
only
pull
Roger
off.
Moore could do this.
Yeah.
It's like as
the
well.
double taking pigeon is like, okay, yeah, it is it is ridiculous, but it's so funny. You're just like, let's just roll with
I
it,
love as
man.
well
I
like
don't care.
just I love as well just the shot of just when it's just on Roger Moore as he's driving through. It's just like a normal day for him.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
and
And by the way, I mean the documentary shows a lot about how this was filmed, and just well, actually, when you think about most of that is genuine reactions. Obviously, you got the staged ones of like the waiter pouring the wine and everything, but then actually. They actually were like struggling to film this because of obviously the police and the tourists. Then there's no way to control the tourists, so they just
yeah,
basically filmed it. And that and they've got these really like shots, like wide shots, where you can see the entire square. You can see all the people there.
yeah,
Really, very impressive stuff, and
yeah,
I love it. And the music is just so over the top. And you've
yeah.
got like da 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 da, and
It
the guy
reminds me
like throwing down his hat and like falls
the
off the
music for
boat.
some reason reminds me a bit of like something out of Indiana Jones. Is that same?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is
Is it
very
just
reminiscent
it's
of.
just because in the
Yeah,
Last Crusade they also have a boat chase in Venice. That's why.
true. Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Which film came out first? I want to look that up now.
good question actually.
Last Crusade was in the 80s, I think. This is
Yeah,
79.
yeah, maybe actually. Well,
Well, yeah, because that was basically like like partially a tribute film to Bond as well, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Last Crusade. I feel like
yeah,
it
it's
was
such a tribute. They had Sean Connery in it.
89. Wow, it's a lot older than I thought. Okay.
Yeah,
Um. So anyway, so
weirdly.
then Bond. Yeah.
Yeah,
What I like as well is when this boat chase finishes as well. It's like nighttime or whatever, and then he's just wearing the hat, the gondola
yeah,
hat
yeah,
as well. Just like, and he throws it onto the,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Because I realized because they never
little
had to
touch
fit
there. I
in
love
F's
that.
office, like because they never got to never got to throw the hat on the thing in the office, so they did that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Huh.
They can't go a film without him throwing a hat on perfectly onto something, you know.
Yeah.
This
But
is
no,
just
he throws his cap. I'm pretty sure he's wearing like a naval cap, isn't he? At some point.
I don't know,
Anyway.
but he doesn't like chuck it onto the
Yeah,
gun.
yeah, yeah. It's not like, yeah, Trilby or
Because I
whatever.
think I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is covered in the documentary you saw, but I saw like I don't think this was filmed in England at all for like I think some tax reasons or they're having legal trouble or something with
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. So they had to yeah that's why because they originally I'm just going to mention this bit of trivia for Tom. Well, I can still remember they wanted the man who plays the captain from was it 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to be Drax, but the French government insisted, you know, if you're going to film in France, you have to take the French actor who,
Yeah.
yeah, he's still great, but I probably would have preferred the other guy, in my opinion. Like,
Oh, I need to
could have
rewatch
been
20,000 Leagues
really
Under the Sea.
good.
I can't remember it that well,
Could have been
but
a really, really good Drax, but they passed it. Well, they literally couldn't do it. So that,
oh
like, even
yeah,
if
but I
that,
don't think that the actor for Hugo Drax is
the actor is
superb.
still fantastic. So
Yeah.
I could let it slide.
Um. Yeah. So anyway, so then Bond sneaks in. He finds this lab with these like scientist boffins
Yeah, like,
who get gassed. So, you know, this is you know, the funny thing about because obviously, and it demonstrates that they die and animals don't. And as a vegan, this is kind of like a bit of a and
yeah,
sometimes I'm like, yeah, man, this is the vegan's dream actually. Like, you find a disease which wipes out the human race and then like just leaves animals and plants to like live naturally, man. Like people, I don't know, like I don't want to get into too much of an extremist vegan like opinion
there
here,
would be a
but yeah.
lot of issues when people disappear, though. You know, like nuclear power plants are all going to explode all around the world, so because there's no one to attend to them.
Yeah, I think you still be at a net plus there for actual nature, but anyway. Um So whatever, those boffins are gassed. Bond manages to keep one sample on him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Good thing
then,
he does.
yeah, yeah, oh, definitely.
This is
Um,
another great thing. Like, I don't know if it's the exact next scene, but yeah, because they go on later on, don't they?
they have Chang fights him.
Yeah, yeah. Because I like it because they've gone through this like they've gone through this room before, like where it's kind of
Mm, yeah.
like an exhibition on like all this priceless glass stuff, like it's like a glass handled sword, you know, which was owned by like some like
Yeah, some
mining.
vase which is worth $1 million.
Yeah, 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 and like they like destroy everything in this room, man. Like no shelf is left on like top.
It's like a literal sort of version of a bull in a china
Little
shop.
China shop, yeah.
Yeah,
And like
They just smash everything they can. They don't even need to. It's like, oh yeah, free hit on this one, bang, yeah, why not? While
Yeah.
we're at it.
And the thing is as well that's quite funny is like one thing I do like is like Bond's kind of he takes like the $1 million vase or the vase if you're from
Yeah, yeah,
America.
the vase, man.
And he's like gonna chuck it. He realized like the alarm's gone off and he just puts it back. The next hit from Chang destroys it anyway.
But just leaves enough on there so it like
Yeah.
doesn't set the alarm off.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's good, yeah. It's good. It's a pretty good fight. By the way, it set the world record, at least for the time, of most breakaway glass used in a single scene. Um,
So,
yep. And yeah, and then obviously it ends up there. It's pretty cool because there's like this warehouse with these boxes and stuff, and then goes up into this clock tower, and obviously Chang is thrown out and
yeah.
well, presumably killed.
While there's like some opera playing and you
Oh
goes
yeah,
right
yeah,
through the drum, it's like play it again, Sam.
yeah, that's right. Um, no, it's a good scene. It's okay. Yes, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I
So
think
then Bond goes and oh yeah, this is stupid, man. Bond surprises Goodhead. That's how I wrote it here. So Goodhead's in a nightie and stuff, looking out into the very nice hotel. But it's
yeah,
just really weird how they like
trolls
Bond
us
is
with
just
no.
stood in the room like in the dark corner, and he goes oh like that, and then she does this over the top scream, and then their actual faces do nothing to reflect that. It's just
Yeah, I
very
don't get it.
strange.
It's just like was he just it's like saying you do like to piss off your mate at school or something like
Yeah, or your little brother.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But like the thing I do like about the scene is even though I think you could probably leave much of this out of the film. Um, it's where like he's going through like because he's like figured out he's a CIA agent, just testing out all the gadgets.
Yeah.
Don't see the point. Which ends up becoming important later on. And like the diary that fires out a dart.
Hmm.
The two identical bottles of like perfume. One's like
Hmm.
actually perfume. The other one's a
The
flamethrower.
pen with the cyanide pill, which he keeps and uses later as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good scene. It's just serviceable. It just tells the story. I like it, and it's. I mean, she just gets busted as well. She kind of just lets it happen. She's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
true.
okay.
I
Um.
love as well, like they have the things like, oh, you plan to go anywhere because you could see the tickets in the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, oh, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, and then she's also looking at her luggage in the next room.
Yeah, I like that because Bond, like all these times we've seen Bond lie and manipulates women and abuse them in various ways, and in this case, this is what it's cool because she's kind of like now she's like you know doing the same. He's having a taste of his own medicine. I mean, obviously he's not playing stick around either. I mean, Bond literally goes on to, literally like blow his load and hits the road,
Mm.
but then she's expecting that, and she's like, yeah, that's cool. Like that
Yeah,
works for
like
me anyway. I'm gonna get out of here as well. So
he walks out in the next sec as soon as he closed the door. She's like, yeah, bring my bags, will you? I quite like that.
yeah, no, I like that. I think that's really important as well because it just knocks down one of those tropes of Bond, just hit and quit. He's just I think it's good.
Right, you have such a way with words when it comes to
I
money.
know, yeah. So this is the Hugo Drax in me. What can I say? Okay, so then we get yeah, a very funny scene where Bond, the Ministry of Defense, and M go in gas masks
Yeah. Well, where
to
the
well to
exact
where he
place.
thinks the lab is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, just before we move on, what I heard that tune. What is that tune? I know it's from. I remember what from it's from. But I can't remember right now. Um,
Oh man.
da, 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 da. It's from something.
It could be.
Do you know or it
It reminds
escapes?
me of something from one of Manchester's Secret Service. Are you going to look it up quickly?
No, no, no. It's from something that was in some kind of pop culture at the time or before. I feel like it was some kind of TV
I'm gonna
series.
see if I can quickly look it up. I don't know.
Um, yeah, while you do, Bond, because they have this reaction to it as well, and that must have made the audience laugh at the time. And I always wondered what it. I know recently, a few months ago, I heard it somewhere else, and I tried to put
Oh,
it to memory.
it's a tune from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, apparently,
Is
which
it?
I haven't seen. So
Okay. Well,
that's
whatever.
interesting.
Um,
Yeah, that's it.
that's not what I remember. Okay, it doesn't matter. Because
For you
Bond, they
close
all walk
ones.
in with their gas masks, and they walk straight into Drax's office.
Yeah,
Um,
which is massively high ceilinged and everything. You know.
like now I'm confronted with it. I have to ask myself,
This
like,
this is something you have to suspend your disbelief for as well. The fact that you
how
get this done
how
so
on
fast.
earth is this executed? Like, let's think about it logically. Could this be done?
How much time does he have? Like 12 hours? 24 at most?
Let's say, yeah, let's just give him 24 hours. Let's say,
Because it's not just like it's a plain office. It is like, which is the
yeah, it's
same
like
size as the.
chiseled marble and shit.
Yeah, exactly. There is. I think this is not meant to be something you have to believe is like kind of like. I think it's more just to illustrate like how Drax is. Like he can make
Yeah,
anything happen, make stuff disappear. You
how
know,
yeah, like how
just
rich and resourceful he's. It just reminded me of American Psycho just popped in my head. Paul Allen's flat,
yeah.
but that's believable. This is kind of like, the only way I could kind of imagine is if the office is there existing the whole time, and then they have like a smaller room with the lab, and then they just remove that lab
Nah, I
somehow.
don't think you want to have your office right next to a
No,
lab
you
where
wouldn't.
testing. I think this is just something
And
you
they,
have to suspend your disbelief for.
yeah,
Like,
it's basically impossible.
but when you do, I think yeah, it's impossible, but not for Drax. Like, I love it so much though when they pop in, like, because it's such a
Oh
shock.
yeah,
Because and then like,
that's the thing. I think the comedy of the moment helps you suspend your
yeah,
disbelief.
yeah, as well as like it's worth for the comedy like
Oh yeah,
bit. 'Cause
yeah,
I love the
yeah.
way that Drax just
Oh
like
yeah,
like forgive me for like being like basically being slow in this, but not being English. I find your humor sometimes a bit difficult to understand.
yeah.
And I love
And the guy is so embarrassed,
because he's
and he
like, I
would
play
be.
bridge with this fellow Drax, you know.
It's so embarrassing. And the guy literally goes, "I've never been so humiliated in all my life." How you believe him? It's just, it really is so embarrassing. It's so like uncomfortable, and then yeah, and then I don't know.
Yeah, but like, yeah, he's like, your man should be taken off the case, and then Bond's like, well, you
Mm,
know, I've got like real evidence to Q, not Q, M. And he's like,
yeah,
yeah, send us down to Q, will you? You know,
yeah. And this is
like
what I like. This is just
this
again
bit with
like,
M and Bond,
yeah.
where
And
like,
sadly, it's Bernard Lee's last film.
yeah,
Unfortunately, he died after this. But I like that one of his last moments is like this moment of trust with Bond, and where
yeah, because
he
like,
backs him. He goes, "Okay, well, you got 2 weeks off." You
yeah,
know,
because the Ministry of the Ministry of Defense is like, you know, I need you to take him off the case, and like M says like, you know, regressively like, you know, I'll have to take you off. But then like they both have this like kind of understanding where it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, you could take 2 weeks off. It's like, where were you thinking of going? You know, like, oh, maybe what did you say, Rio, maybe? And then he's just like, yeah, I think you mentioned something like
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that.
it's good.
And then
Thing
afterwards,
right after, you know, back to
oh
track.
yeah, we cut back to Drax
So yeah,
on the
it's
blower.
suspended
He's
slightly.
like he's just flicking through his yellow pages, looking for new henchmen because
Yeah.
Chang's out, obviously been disposed of. And he goes, well, of course, if you can get him.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
then next
little
thing
old
George goes
Jaws
through air
walks through,
security.
man. Oh, and then he going through the metal detector, and just the smart, and the guy like is so overacted, but it's just so perfect for
Yeah,
the scene.
exactly. Just let him go through anyway. Like, man, this guy could have like a bomb vest, and you're not gonna stop him, are you?
Yeah, big time. And furthermore, it's pre 9/11
Yeah,
security,
true.
so
Yeah, they let him through with that probably. So
Bond as well. So I actually ended up watching two documentaries because of this film. I watched the one of the making of, but then I watched a documentary about Concorde.
oh,
Um,
well,
because
yeah,
Bond, of course, takes Concorde, which was like like very extremely luxurious.
mm,
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, it was interesting because I was kind of wondering like how long were Concorde, because I believe this is the only time you see Bond
yeah,
go travel into Concorde. So I was thinking like and actually they stopped being used in 2002 or three, so it just wasn't economically viable by the end.
yeah, as well as a few other
It's
issues. But
very interesting. Yeah, there are a few issues, but it's just very interesting like moment in history. And I don't know,
yeah, a
Concorde's
bit like
always,
the hovercraft in Diamonds Are Forever, but to a greater extent.
yeah, it reminds me of the blimp as well. Just like it's
Yeah,
there's very interesting these moments of like human engineering that just kind of we like outsmarted ourselves almost, with like the blimp and the Concorde. Very interesting, those
yeah,
kind of things. But anyway, so yeah, he's in Rio, which for me is just like the epitome of like an exotic Bond location.
yeah,
When I think of like Bond, when I think of James Bond, sort of the first image I get is this film Bond in Rio, where the carnival's happening, this
not
festival.
Jamaica.
He's wearing his No, not even Jamaica. I think of this. Bond, because Bond here he's in his full dinner jacket as well, full tuxedo.
Yeah.
Roger Moore, beautiful lady there. These dance, just a proper like carnival
Yeah. I mean,
situation as well. Jaws is there. Um,
yeah, I like the. I mean, all he has to do, he like pops into like pops
yeah,
into a warehouse for 5 seconds just to see. Oh, Drax is doing some shipping, you know.
yeah,
Um, but I love the framing of like because he's like, oh yeah, don't talk to any strange men while I'm gone,
right.
you know. Like, and I forgot what his ally's name is here because he goes to quite a few of them. Uh,
She's very like just well yeah, one of those just like
yeah, do you come with the sweet? You know, like.
yeah, exactly, sort of disposable eye candy.
Well, at least she wasn't disposable in this scene. Like, um,
But yeah, this is
when
yeah.
Jules like, I love the bit where it's like,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
the
if you
shot
haven't seen
when
this,
they're walking away from the crowd, and then you just see it's like from a horror film, man. It's really very
it's like a colorful carnival thing, but it's kind of the lighting and the
it's
music kind of.
terrifying because you see like you just see these like, and then you just I don't know how they do it, how they draw your eye to it, but you just see one of them just turning and looking and just standing still, and
Yeah,
there's something just very like just straight out of a really well made horror film there, you know.
yeah,
To me, as a kid, that always terrified me. That moment, and even when I watched it like last night, I'm like, oh, whoa, it's just scary, man. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. I love
Is
that
that
bit.
just me or you as well?
It's not like I'm not like literally like shitting myself, but it's
Yeah,
still
you
like
sit there and you're like, whoa,
unnerving and like it's like
it is
oh
scary.
damn.
Um, yeah. So Jaws tries to kill her, and then I love this actually. It's just
Yeah, because I thought to myself like Bond can't like beat Jaws in a hand fight. Like I forgot
yeah,
how he got out of this, and it's just
I
Jaws
really.
gets like swept away by the crowd, man. It's so funny.
It's so good, and you know what I like about it as well. He just because he can't speak. Well, he can speak, but he doesn't. At this point, anyway, and he does his body language is great because he's like there. He's like, no, I need to kill these guys. Then he's like, yeah, I can do it tomorrow. Let's get wasted, man.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
just like he literally throws his arms up. He's like, yeah, all right, let's samba, man.
Yeah, I
I
love
love it.
that.
I love it. The weird thing for me is though why this agent, why she's so incompetent. She's MI6, right? And also, she doesn't scream for help either when these people are walking past, these bystanders. She's just like
Well,
silent.
it's so loud. They might probably think she's either drunk or excited or
Maybe,
like,
maybe.
and also
But
they probably don't
and yeah,
speak
what they're
English.
gonna do as well. Yeah.
I want to play a game.
We've travelled forward in time to play License to Quiz. So what we've got here is Tom is now better, so we're recording License to Quiz now, and then I'm going to add it on to the recording that you're listening to now.
Mm.
So that's exciting.
You said with time travel.
Yes. Very in fitting with the sci-fi
Yeah,
Yeah.
themes of
we're
Moonraker.
not we're not science fiction. We're in fact science fact.
Yeah, science
Yeah.
fact. Exactly.
I had
Okay,
to say
so we're going to start with the usual two questions. Now, what I will preface this with, as a bit of a clue for you two, the budget for this film was more than the first 6 Bond films combined.
all right.
What do you think it was?
Wow. Oh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 20 million.
I'm gonna say 25.
Yeah, that's my second guess, but I'm gonna say 20 million.
Okay. Well, you're both quite far off the mark. It's actually 34 million according to
Oh
IMDb.
wow.
A lot of money, yeah. Threw a lot of money at it. I know if I was playing, I'd have guessed like 50 million or something.
Nah, that's
So yeah,
that's like,
big budget.
well, you
Um,
Well,
inflation
inflation
something
went
like
up a
this.
lot.
Yeah.
so Henry won that one. So it's 1-0. Now the worldwide gross, the box office.
Nice.
Um,
It's like when
um,
Spy Love Me, it was so low for what I thought it would be.
Well, what do
I'm
you think it
gonna
was for Moonraker?
I'm gonna say maybe I'm gonna say a solid. I don't know. I'm gonna say 125 million.
I'm gonna go like slightly more conservative. I think I would go like 95 million roughly.
You two again, way off the mark. Tom won it though. It was $210 million.
Really?
Yeah, didn't you guys know this is the highest grossing Bond film until Skyfall?
No, I didn't.
What? I thought that was Thunderball.
No, Skyfall
Yeah,
was
although
like
then again, this is all
Skyfall
like
broke Moonraker's record.
this is like adjusting for inflation and that sort of
No, no,
thing.
no, no. This is at the time.
Yeah, I know, but like in my mind, because it's like 100 million If You Only Live Twice was like worth $1 billion today, but this is like, 70s money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, this is 200 million in 1979. So,
wow.
well, 201 actually. So yeah, you two. Sorry, 210 million. Yeah, way off, man. Okay, well that's one all then.
Hmm.
Okay, Moonraker was the title of which of Ian Fleming's? I think there are 11 Bond novels in total. Which
Yeah.
one was Moonraker?
I have
7.
no clue. I'm gonna say I don't know 5.
Henry?
Didn't you say like something?
Henry,
gonna say
you're
7.
supposed to you're like the most interested. I mean, none of us have read the Bond books, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
Henry has,
I'm
shown
gonna
interest
say
in that before. So come on, Moonraker. Which one is it, Henry? Do you
I
know?
said 7.
Seven.
I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna say 5. I was
Tom
about to
says
switch
fifth.
7, but Henry just said
Tom's
7.
right.
Yes.
Tom's not right, but he's closest. It was Ian Fleming's third Bond novel,
Huh.
Moonraker.
I would never have thought Ian Fleming would think, let's do space next, like
The order
Well,
was
he
all
did.
messed up.
I
for
think the
those.
only thing they kept from the original novel was the title of the villain, Hugo Drax. That's it.
all right, well, nice to know.
Okay. So 2-1 to Tom. Now
Okay.
the fourth question: what martial art does Chang practice?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say
Taekwondo? I don't know.
I'm gonna say jujitsu.
Okay, you both wrong. So you got to keep guessing till someone gets it
I'm
right.
gonna say judo.
No.
Yeah, feng shui.
I'll give
And
you a
I'm-
clue. I'll give you a clue that both of you should be able to kind of maybe guess from. It's name dropped in an episode of Only Fools and Horses.
Oh, aikido.
Taekwondo.
Aikido, you're right, Tom. That's it.
I can't believe that.
Wow.
I'm learning Aikido. That's
God, I
right.
don't remember that. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's one of my
remember that.
favorites, man. Okay, so 3-1 to Tom. Now, here we go. How many languages does Bond speak in Moonraker?
Oh my gosh.
Bonus points if you can name each one.
I'm gonna say uh, 4. He speaks Portuguese for Brazil. He speaks Italian,
Yep.
and he speaks French. So I'm gonna say, yeah, and that's it. He speaks English. If that's if
So
that's a
so your
trick
final
question.
answers 4, Tom and Henry?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 4.
Is, there
To be
a
honest,
fifth
Tom's
one?
wipes you out there. I think you can't. Yeah, like
Is he spot on?
I didn't notice him speaking French. I had him just down as speaking Italian, English, and Portuguese. So
Alright.
yeah,
Maybe
Tom
you should,
nailed
maybe
it.
you
To
should
be
take your
fair,
notes slightly better.
Tom nailed it.
I guess
Um,
I don't even know. Did he even speak French? I was just guessing. 'Cause he
Yeah,
wasn't-
yeah, no, it was good. He didn't. No, it was Italian, Portuguese, and English that he spoke. 3 languages.
I mean, I got
Roger
all
Moore brings out a lot
went
of
back to
languages
what-
in his films, actually. Even
Yeah, he does.
he's like a bit
I
of a
find that
linguist.
a bit cringe. Like he knows every language. Like,
Nah, I love it. I
Yeah,
love
but I
it. Man.
like it. He says it like, especially in Fear Eyes Only, he says it like an English person would on holiday.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Um,
attempt to do an accent.
yeah.
All right. Well, Tom's won this round of licensed quiz, but we do have 2.
Two more questions.
2 for pride here, Henry. So the necklace of death contains how many globes?
50.
Yep.
Oh, my days. That would definitely, even if I said it, would have been destroyed by my Wi-Fi.
Okay. And the final question, Henry, you got to try and get one of this, man. The final question: there are 6 Moonraker shuttles. Okay. Which does Bond board at the end?
5.
Moonraker 5.
Henry got it. Moonraker
Oh.
5.
Okay.
So there you go. Tom's still a sweeping 5-2 win. And that's licensed quiz for today. So I think the total scores now are
2-1.
how many episodes have we done? I haven't written these down. We've done 4. You've done 4 now against each other, right?
We've done 3.
No, we've done My Other Golden Gun, Spy Love Me, and now Moonraker.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was thinking
So,
Live and Let
yeah.
Die. Okay. So Tom's winning 2-1. Okay. All right. On with the episode, which totally isn't being recorded at the moment. So then, now we're on to another great moment, the cable car fight.
Yeah.
And I say the cable car fight because this isn't the only cable car we get in Bond. But
Yeah,
this
for
is
a second I was wondering what other cable car fights. I just thought the Johnny English one, like
oh yeah. No. No, I love this. I love this one, man. This is just again, like okay, very exotic location, filmed for real, like with proper cable cars, with proper stuntmen. There's You've got Jaws. You've got Roger Moore, man. You know, it's just this whole. It's just all the perfect ingredients for like a Bond action sequence. The
Yeah.
music is great. You've got Jaws just being terrifying. You know, he's obviously bites through the cable, which everyone knows is made of
Yeah,
licorice.
I like it. They have this like just a bit with Jaws where he's like this is like something that everyone's experienced, but it's like such a niche thing like to explain. Where he's like he thinks he's sorted something over there.
Oh yeah,
He keeps like it's maybe undoing itself, and he's just like deciding whether or not just to fuck off or not, and he's just like
yeah,
yeah fuck it, like just bites through it.
yeah, yeah. And he's like, yeah, trying to stop the wheel. Yeah, yeah. It's this. I love how much visual comedy they pull off with Jaws. You know, it's like it's a very rare opportunity you have, and they really make the most of him. Like I think that's brilliant. And you can
Yeah.
tell Richard Keel is like fully like enjoying it as well. You
This is
know.
the thing as well. Like, I'm kind of glad they had him for a second film and they didn't bring him back for another one because they've done everything they can with him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just they didn't overuse him. It's just right,
Yeah, you're right, and yeah, I've never thought about that, but you're right because it's so often and easily done, not just in Bond but any franchise. They just overdo it with someone, just one too many. Jaws is just perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing he does feels too much or too little. It's just right. Um, and yeah, of course. And by the way, like
He's got
filming,
he's got like a replacement for Shandor, like just another bald guy.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's right. Um, and you've also got, but by the way, filming this, one of the stuntmen had this harness that he wasn't wearing a harness or something, and they filmed this stunt and just sort of like for professional pride or whatever. He actually went down the side of the cable car. He was actually so like the stunt. I can't remember what shot it was for, but where he's hanging off the edge of the
Yeah.
cable car, off the railing, that was for real without a harness.
Wow.
The guy was like, "Yeah, that's literally the most dangerous thing I've done in my life." Like that is amazing, man. Like
Dedication.
just that's the thing with Bond, you know. It's just they're risking that. They're genuinely like, and it's funny in the documentary, they're like, oh, you know, we're actually pulling off Bond stunts, Bond-esque stunts to create Bond stunts, like stunts you don't even see that are used to actually like make the stunt in the first place happen. Just brilliant. So Bond and Goodhead escape using a chain. Bond's upper body strength, by the way.
Yeah, for real, man.
Ridiculous.
Man, he's been doing pull-ups like every day for like,
There's
20
no
years.
way, man. But again, you're suspending your disbelief. But I'm watching. I'm like, yeah, that's.
I love as well how like like Jaws' cable car is just like catching up with him, I guess.
Oh yeah, the music.
I love like you suddenly like when they drop just before like the last second,
Mhm.
and like the guy's reaction like Shandor
Yeah,
too, man. He's like, oh, I have
yeah,
to get the fuck out of here. Jaws is like he looks down, he's like, oh, they dropped, and then he looks up,
yeah,
and he realizes, man, he's like, oh fuck, like because like even he can't obviously stop the cable car with all his strength, and
yeah.
I don't know what they did to like the set like the building because I just think of the 7 Up logo on it, like.
I know, I know. It sticks in my mind so much. Any Man United fans out there, by the way, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, this will come out a couple of weeks from when the
Yes,
result happened. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you know, man, 7-0, suck it.
Yeah, just goes right through the fucking thing.
Yeah, great stunt, and Jaws comes out of it as well. And it's funny. It's just this is absolutely ridiculous. But
It's so dumb, but I just accept it.
you're just like, yeah, why not, man? Why not have Jaws fall in love with like this little like blonde, like just like blonde Plenty O'Toole, man, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing is, it's like there's
and
like
she's got these like pigtails, she's got these like little circle glasses and stuff. It's just like it's so ridiculous, but it's so funny. It's
there's
just
such a contrast between the two, like a really short,
exactly.
like,
And you know what's funny as well?
I mean,
Obviously, the
anyone's
thing
short
is that
compared to them.
people were sort of on the set were like, well, is this a bit too much? And it's like, well, and Jaws, Richard Keel, he's like, well, actually, his own wife is a similar stature to this actress, so it was like, yeah, well, actually, it is very much possible. So
Yeah, and I like as well, like there's like an actual Mandela effect with this that some people had, like because a lot of people for some reason remembered like this girl's having braces because like they like would have thought, oh, the reason they both like each other is because like the teeth thing. I don't know why. I never remembered that, but some people do. So it's like I don't
I'm
know.
confused now. She doesn't have braces
No,
though,
she
does she?
doesn't have braces, but a lot of people remember it as she does
Oh, that's weird.
for
No,
some
she
reason.
just smiles, doesn't she?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and she just looks young because of like the costume, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. The music, it's they walk off hand, and
Yeah.
you know what I really love it. It's the fact as well. She helps him
yeah.
like push this massive wheel off. It's so funny, man. It's so good.
Jaws is no longer a doomer. He's got something to live for, you know. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is Jaws is like
turning point.
his
Yeah.
arc, man. Exactly. We're witnessing Jaws like turn good. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's so good.
No one.
And
Yeah.
actually, and how it genuinely plays into the plot later as well.
Well, the
There's
thing
no
is,
loose
as
ends in
well,
this film.
like,
It just
you could-
works so
you-
nicely.
the thing is, you can always see is like, you know, he always has to pick himself out of like, you know, those ridiculous scenarios where like people are just
Yeah.
sending him out to his death, you know, but he always survives. And everyone always runs away from him like he's a monster or something, but she's
That's
the
right.
only person who's ever helped him. So, like, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a very nice moment. So anyway, so then Bond and Goodhead, they're like, oh yeah, let's get it on now. And then these ambulance chaps come out of nowhere.
Oh no, man, you forgot like what a great line from Roger though, like where she's like, oh, have you broken anything? It's like only my tailor's
Oh
heart.
yeah, that's right. And yeah, these ambulance guys knock him out, carry him away. There's this little fight in the ambulance, which is pretty cool, I suppose. It's like, why not? Bit of action. And yeah, Bond gets out, Goodhead doesn't, so we get rid of her for about half an hour.
Yeah, you get like some very like on the nose British Airways advert, you know.
Oh yeah, but it's so funny. It's like
It's quite funny.
nothing is like, it's all good humored. It's all like, it's there's so much here which could go wrong, but it's just this is perfect. Like let's And anyway, so then Bond goes, he escapes. And by the way, the ending shot of that as he walks off, basically walks into
Yeah,
the
I
sunset, and the
can get this,
music
like,
and stuff is just like,
music.
dun, dun, dun,
But
dun,
like the
dun. It's so
transition
good,
is
man.
like so like I have no idea where he's gone. Like
Yeah, where's he walking?
like
Doesn't
where's
matter.
are we missing a scene in between this or something?
Oh no, he's just
No,
walking.
I know,
It's
I
just
know we're
like I don't
not.
know. He's just
It's
walking.
like
It's just like it doesn't matter. He's just doing it as style. That's the
it's such a
point.
random like thing that I just don't get it. Like
What?
he's
You don't get
like
what?
no, it's like it goes from
Where
him.
he's walking.
No, it's just him in the middle of like, you know, Rio or whatever, and then he's like off in like you know the savannah was like on like a horseback, like in like a poncho or something.
Oh right. Well, yeah, I don't know. He goes to some temple and like
Yeah,
meets
yeah,
monks, man.
yeah. And then like Moneypenny's desk is like in the middle of it, you know, like
Yeah,
just mind you, it's an MI6 setup.
that's right. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is. I think this is. Well, yeah, it's weird. I mean, presumably it's still in Brazil. It
So
must be.
I mean, Brazil's
No,
a
it is. It
massive
is.
country,
I think
so
it must. Oh, I'm not really sure now, actually, because in the documentary they did name drop what the name of that temple was. It's like quite famous, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. To be fair though, like Brazil's a massive country, so it could be in
Yeah,
there
true.
somewhere.
Obviously you've got one of Q's famous workshops there.
Yeah,
Everything's happening. Balls Q. And unfortunately, we do get a little bit of like
laser.
little taster of what's to come.
At least they drop it in just to be like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Remember,
good.
guys,
It
we
does
do
brace
have
you a little bit,
lasers.
so it's not a complete like shock. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, that's a bit weird. But anyway, Key's there. This is M's last scene. Unfortunately, oh no, it's not. Sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah, Q just tells Bond about this flower and everything,
Yeah, the
which
pod's like, actually, it was discovered here, you know, like,
yeah,
it's like just
yeah,
shown
that's
you
right.
for no reason.
Yep. Oh yes, and Q, volunteers his latest vehicle away to
Yeah,
Bond, which is this.
Q sacrifices his latest vehicle more like.
Yeah, exactly, and a very, very, very cool vehicle though. This boat is
Yeah.
sick, man.
Yeah, well, it brings me back to Live and Let Die a little bit, but like,
A little bit
better.
of Live and Die, a little bit of a future film as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to call this the Q boat, but it's not. I think it is the Q boat, is it not?
Don't know, didn't name drop it, so.
Yeah, I feel I can't remember. It's kind of known as the Q boat. It's either that or the
No,
world's
it's
not enough, or
definitely the one
both.
in, it's definitely the one in World's Not Enough.
Well, okay. But
Cuba.
anyway, this boat is so cool, man. It's got all the gadgets and stuff. You got Jaws there in the Amazon River, and you've got the 007
Yeah.
theme. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
obviously
like
it goes over the
it's like
waterfall.
a slightly more relaxed version of the 007
Yeah, it's
theme.
a bit slowed down. I'm not sure really why they did that, but it's cool.
Yeah.
just gets me thinking. Now, from now on, I'm going to watch Bond films. I'm going to think of a scene where I'm like, I might even do this for every film. And I'm going to nominate a scene where they should have used the 007, or they could have at least, because
You might find it difficult for some of the films, you know.
I'm going to try. I'm going to give myself a little challenge.
Yeah,
But yeah, anyway, they go over the second. The falls they use here are the second highest in the world. So obviously Niagara is the biggest, right?
no, it would be. There are falls in Venezuela which are way bigger than that. It's like nearly a kilometer. It's not nearly a kilometer fall, but it's like 900 feet at least.
Well, this one they said was the second biggest in the world. So you know, it looks beautiful. It's funny because they tried to.
They actually sent Richard Keel down it.
No, they didn't. They close though. They tried to send a boat over the edge, but they couldn't because like where the water went over the edge, it wasn't. It was a bit too shallow, so the boat just got grounded. And then they had to send a guy out on a helicopter, like from a wire to like on a line to try and pull the boat sort of over the edge. And then the guy's doing it, and because it's so loud, as you can imagine, with the water crashing down.
Yeah.
He just heard these pings going off, and he's like, "What's that sound?" And he realized it's like the stitching from his harness coming off. He's like trying to pull this boat off from like a helicopter line. So he left it, and then they just filmed it in. To be fair, in Pinewood Studios, but
I wouldn't have been able to tell. That's very well done for Pinewood Studios.
Oh yeah. Very, what I must appreciate. I mean, the green screen's not perfect in this film, when you're paying attention, but it's a lot, but it's not enough to distract you, which is good. And I like this. And obviously Roger, he just like hang gliders away. That's probably why it reminds me of Live and Let Die a little bit as well. But it's just a great boat, great gadget. Jaws there as well.
The thing is that I realized
tears the steering wheel off as well. Like
that's like the proper like Wile E. Coyote kind of thing. Like
proper cartoon stuff now.
Yeah. And the thing is that I liked as well, because obviously Jaws doesn't die at this bit. Like the thing that I didn't even realize is like Bond doesn't make it very far with the hang glider, which makes sense as to why Jaws can easily catch up later on. Like he's only like 50 meters away from like the.
I think it is very, very convenient that Roger Moore just stumbles upon the base, like in the literally the Amazon jungle. Right, who knows? Like, I mean, he's probably got a map on him, but still.
Well, actually, no. To be fair, this is where they found the reason he's going specifically.
No. I know that he's looking for where that flower comes from,
and that's where they built it, presumably.
But you've got, like his journey is cut short, presumably in the boat. He must have been very near the end of his journey, and he's like, all right, I can hang glide.
Well, maybe they sent those guys after him because he was getting too close. So.
Oh yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, good point.
In the mine island.
Yeah, fair enough. So then he goes and finds this like Aztec building, and follows these beautiful women around.
Yeah, like a siren almost.
And they're all we recognize these women from earlier in the film as well, which is
exactly. I like that they bring them back. It's just
it's cool, isn't it? Like the receptionist from the glass houses there.
Yeah, because it really doesn't make sense. You don't feel that Drax gives a shit about these people. Like he's not like he's a bit of a Sigma male. Honestly. Like you don't get the idea that he's interested in women at all.
Yeah.
Like he's just like say hi to these two, go away, kind of like. But then they pop up later on. It's just like, oh, all right.
It just occurred to me. Karine would have been one of these women if she hadn't,
Yeah, grasped. Well, not even grasped, but like.
Yeah.
Looks the wrong way.
She would have been one of these women. Now, what's interesting to me now, since we're on the subject.
Do you ever wonder, like, how did he recruit these people?
Yeah. How much do they know? Because at some point. Because they do all the astronaut training, they're all like scum villains, Nazis, basically, right? So,
do they know? What if they just think, "Oh, we're going for a holiday in space"? Just kidding.
Nah, they've got.
They would have to be on board with this plan.
Yeah, exactly. They've all signed up for the Fourth Reich, effectively.
Well, didn't they all die on the station?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, which is, these people are all like scum, really. If you deep it, like but it's really strange. Like these are all like, but how does Drax recruit? But I mean, he does later on go say, you've all played a small part. So obviously, this has been in the works for like many years because obviously, like he's running all these shops in like Venice and in Brazil and stuff, and he's like, okay, So obviously, like he's got like manager level guys, like recruitment and stuff, hiring like beautiful, good-looking young people. And then at some point in the interview, you
Like
must
a
be like,
newspaper ad, like
yeah, by the way, what are your thoughts on the events in between 1939 and 1945? In Eastern Germany, like whatever, like sat there, like it must be like trying to like he must have some system of like finding out who
who's
would be.
extremist, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's trying to find like neo-Nazis and then like recruit them as like so he's obviously firing. He must have gone through a lot of people to accumulate what
Yeah,
at
it's
least
like, how would
a
you
couple
keep a
hundred people
secret?
he's got up there by the end, right? So he must have gone through a lot of people and like just found enough that like sign. Obviously, he's paying them very well as well. You'd
And
imagine,
the thing is as
and
well,
also
like
literally promising them the world because the plan is obviously for them to eventually return to the planet and repopulate it,
yeah.
and they're basically kings from that point.
The problem that I have,
It's really big.
I mean,
It's
the
a
one
big
thing that
plan.
the one thing that I don't get as well is obviously there are all these ground personnel as well though, like who will inevitably die from like the plan, but they're
Like
still going along with it. Like they
okay.
don't send all the computer technicians from down there and the guards and so on all the way up.
Yeah, but I don't think they're in the loop.
But then what would they think this is all about?
Well,
Just
they don't
another
know.
rocket launch?
I think they don't. Well, they're just firing rockets. They're just
Yeah,
like, yeah, whatever,
maybe they are. Maybe they don't know. That's even worse almost. That just makes Drax even more like.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. I think this is like a really well executed um plan.
Apart from like how you would actually go about doing it, but that's about it.
Well, okay, yeah. Apart from like the radio, whatever detection, it adds up for me, and this is like if like I said, Elon Musk has the money and resources equivalent to Drax. I think that's fair to say, right? And then let's say he got like really like fascist, whatever, right? If he wanted to, he could execute the plot to Moonraker. Yeah, maybe apart from getting the
Yeah,
space
don't give
station
him
up.
any idea. Yeah, apart from not getting the
Unless, okay, yeah. Well, I don't know.
because if you could easily see on satellites if someone's building like parts of a space station on their bases,
Yeah,
like
this is again. Also, it's a bit of a like. I would drop in my own theory here. If like, let's say Hugo Drax is a vegan and he wants like, and he's recruiting a bunch of vegans as well. That like, okay, we're going to repopulate the Earth, not because he makes a point like he doesn't want to damage plant or animal life. So maybe he's trying to reset things from that point of view as well. I don't know.
maybe.
Although he does cucumber sandwich. I'm just trying to think. Does he eat any meat? I don't think he
Like
does
feeds
actually.
the dogs.
Yeah, but I think he kind of. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, um. So,
Oh, well, he
anyway,
also
so we're back
shoots.
to it.
He
So
also
yeah, then
does
he
like
goes and
he also
fights an
shoots like
anaconda.
birds. So
Sorry.
he also shoots birds. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Um. So anyway, Bond goes and has a fight with an anaconda of all things as
yeah,
well.
the thing is, this is one thing that I find really
Yeah.
stupid in this. Maybe I kind of like, although the only thing is I can kind of think of an amusing way to spin it. Like that rock conveniently he stood on pushes him in, but like the one that flips, like he just has to be standing in just the right place for that to happen.
I think that's. I don't care about that much. What
The other
bothers
thing,
me is how fake the like rubber snake he's like. When he's like stabbing the pen and how obvious of
yeah.
a prop that is.
The thing is that I think that would be funny is to imagine like from his experience in You Only Live Twice, he doesn't go over the bridge because he knows it'll drop him in. So that's just the backup in case he doesn't go across.
Yeah, maybe. What I do like kind of laugh at though is like when he's there and he's like surrounded by all these women, he looks like he's about to give a speech or something because he's there and
Yeah.
he's like, "Wow, this is amazing." You know what I mean? Like, okay, now he starts like numbering them like in order, which one, I don't know, like I don't know
Yeah.
what he was
So
about
who
to do there. You know what I mean? Because they're all looking. It's a very strange situation because they're all staring at him and stuff, and he's like, "Okay, now what?" You know.
But the
Anyway,
thing
and
is
then Jaws pulls him out, and Jaws is still dripping wet from having come
yeah.
off the Amazon.
I love like the pan up to him as well, like
Oh yeah, it's
his
fantastic.
shoes, and then it's just like, oh.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So- Oh, but the only thing is as well though, like because you also see the guards here. Like I don't mind the colorful costumes, like because they've always been a staple of Bond more or less. They always in order to make them stand out, so you can tell who's a goon and like who's like an actual
Yeah.
character. What are these stupid helmets they're wearing, man? They're like foam, like headphones, like a rubber band or whatever. It's like it looks so stupid.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I've never gotten over that.
yeah. So then Bond, Drax. Oh, by the way, and this room is so cool, man. Like
Yeah,
very
for sure.
sci-fi, very like like
And
I
I
said,
like
great.
how they've got like the kind of like glass globe with the plant in it. Like
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
because
very
that's
interesting.
what this is what it's all about, really. Like
Yeah.
this
So
plant
Drax basically goes and reveals his whole plan to Bond. Then
in
he
front of
play.
all the technicians.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
hang on a minute. Well, I don't have a ticket.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a bit confused now because Drax goes and does another speech when they're up on the space station. So,
Yeah, maybe he's lying.
uh, hmm, yeah, that is unless. Okay, how about this? They all go away and like because there are 5 Moonraker shuttles, right? And Drax is in the 5th one, right? And then there's a 6th one, and that's the last one to depart. So maybe
Well,
all the
no, because
technicians
there's
and
still
stuff are
people
in that
doing,
one.
but still during when they're on there, they're doing the countdowns. And also they even look in their cargo, and it's just the people who are like meant to be the.
Maybe they just got dressed quickly.
No, definitely not. You don't see like the nerds man up there, do you?
Well, maybe. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna stop like apologizing for this, but
You just said
maybe.
you're gonna stop, man.
Yeah, okay, never mind. So Bond and Goodhead are reunited underneath the blaster of a rocket.
Yeah,
Drax hasn't given up
which
on
is the
planning an
my
amusing death for
background
him.
for those on YouTube.
Sorry.
Which is my background for those on YouTube.
Oh, yep.
And also,
Um,
sorry for you on Spotify, you can't see it. Or
yeah. No, I don't apologize. People on Spotify know what they're doing, man. Trust me.
alright.
So anyway, so Bond and Goodhead are placed below the rocket. Bond has a random gadget from his watch,
Yeah,
which
which
is a
wasn't explained
Casio,
before.
by the way. So he's not wearing the Rolex anymore. This is what I appreciate about Roger Moore. He's not driving the Aston Martin and the Rolex. He's prepared to shake things up a bit in his own style.
Yeah, Seiko watches, Casio maybe.
Seiko, Casio, yeah. I'm like fair play, fair play. It's not what I'd wear, but respect.
This watch saves him like 3 times throughout this film, man.
No, that's the thing. It's not the watch. It's not the
It's
same
not
gadget.
it's not the dart, but it's still in the watch.
No, but they're not. It's not the same
It's not
gadget.
the same watch.
No.
Oh, all right. So he has 2 watches. Wow.
Well, the dart gun isn't a watch.
It
It's
isn't?
just a bracelet with the thing underneath it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, forgive me for imagining that, a thing you put around your wrist isn't a watch.
Yeah, I know. It's you have to pay close attention, but and as well, the other giveaway is the fact that he wears the dart gun on his right hand, and obviously, if you're right-handed, you wear your watch on your left hand.
Oh,
So
okay. All
yeah,
right. Well, nice to know. Well, that means he has 2 tricks up his sleeve. So
yeah. So this
surprised he never
watch
made them
has like
public.
I'm not sure what that is. It's like a string of like magnesium or some shit, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
something which makes the biggest explosion for its
yeah.
size, but
Um,
and a
and he just
crime on
casually
it.
pulls out and uses it, like detonates it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
back time. Like, man, you're about to get like grilled to like alive.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
They're
making jokes.
fried, man. But anyway, they get out. They sneak on Moonraker 6,
Yeah.
and they
Now,
fly
shout
off.
out to
Yeah,
that.
and Bond is looking a little bit nervous, but he doesn't say anything. But obviously, Goodhead notices, and she's like, "Don't worry, I've done this a million times. It's all
Yeah. I
Gucci."
like just also like because they also had to get like the outfits for this. They managed to knock out just the right people who are actually going to be going on. Just shout out to that cool like whatever villain layer vehicle they're driving around, like the yellow thing. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
cool,
kind of
isn't it? Um,
like You Only Live Twice sort of style.
yeah, very much. Yeah, reminiscent of that because it's filmed in some caves as well. Like,
Yeah, as well.
yeah, very cool. So then, now Bond is
Now he's
entering,
in
well,
space.
exiting Earth's atmosphere. So now we're in space.
Yeah. Not
And
that
this
fake
isn't,
out,
this is fair
in
enough.
Twice.
And so anyway, so Bond's going up there. He doesn't know what to. He's obviously a little bit anxious, and Goodhair's like, yeah, don't worry. And then he checks out the cargo, and he's like, oh, Noah's Ark, 2 by 2. And then they start all making out. It's like some space orgy going on.
Yeah,
So
man. The funny thing is like there's a
very
the
weird.
frame there's like a brief frame of like two of them going to kiss, and then only when they dock at the station they finish. So I'm just thinking like they've been kissing
Mm,
like the entire flight, man. Like
yeah, good
calm
point.
down, man.
Yeah, that's probably the most because okay, that is the biggest plot hole in this whole film because like how are all those couples not getting do you know what I mean? No one's cheating on each other, no one's like getting in
Yeah, man.
fights
Imagine
and
even
stuff. They're all
literally
like
be like Coronation Street but in space, man. That'd be like
for real. They must have been very carefully selected, and then maybe they're just assigned partners. Maybe it is
They're
like
probably, to be honest
Yeah.
with Rex, he probably has cameras all over the place. So
yeah, and none of them are pregnant either. Interesting.
The thing is, how do you even give birth in space? I'm pretty sure it's not possible. Like the
Really?
kid would be like, well, because the kid like wouldn't be able to develop properly because there's no gravity, unless they got like that artificial
Oh.
simulated gravity. Which
Well, yeah, they have simulated gravity, but that's interesting. I've never thought about that. Well,
Yeah.
if anyone watching has ever given birth in space, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to do some research into that later on. But anyway,
fund us on Patreon so we can go to space and then,
yeah, we can fund an expedition. Yeah, man. So anyway, now we get one of the coolest shots in any Bond film. The way the space city is actually revealed.
I love this bit because he's like, what's that? And it's like some like
because they don't know what they're flying towards. They're just like, oh, there's a preset destination. Like, where are we actually going?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this like space station is just revealed like with a single light.
Yeah, with like it's almost like it's like some fanfare which is like reminiscent of Star Wars but not the same.
Yeah,
Or more like something else which I can't remember, but it's
and,
I really like it.
and the music.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, and I just love that reveal. And obviously that's again, it's a miniature, but a 20-foot miniature. In Pinewood. It's it's fantastic. It really, Ken Adams, man, what a genius. So then, Drax, I've written down here, Drax gives based speech.
Yeah, literally. The thing is, just one thing before he does his speech. I really like as well when it's just like the stuff of the model when there's no music, like when they turn on the gravity and it's like starts spinning.
Yeah.
Which I used to think like how would they simulate gravity, but I think that somehow works if you get it going on the right speed around Earth or something. But yeah, I just love it, just things spinning in space and there's no sound at all. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Which is it's a little bit because that's accurate in space. In space, no one can hear you scream. But
oh, you're thinking.
but like and in more recent sci-fi films, they've made a point of being like Christopher Nolan. Oh yeah, by the way, I've invented space thanks to Heath Ledger, and just so you all know, in Interstellar, in case they just beat. I hate how much.
It's like wow,
they just
that's
beat
so
me over the head with like, oh yeah, oh there's no sound in space. Oh yeah, like Interstellar has invented that concept. Like, oh yeah, we all fucking know that, man. Like, and it's not the first. What annoyed me is
It's true. There's stuff that you hear that sounds in this, but it's like we don't care, man. Most of when it is live, it's cool.
Literally no one cares. No one cares, man. Fuck you, Christopher Nolan. You're just trying to be clever all the time, man. Like, just give it a break. That's the problem with Interstellar and Tenet as well. Like, it's just the point. Chris Nolan gets his head so far up his own ass. It's just like no one's stopping him and going, yeah, mate. No one cares actually. Just make a good film, man. Just anyway.
Speaking of people with head up their own ass.
Hugo Drax.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't hate Christopher Nolan.
We don't hate Heath Ledger either.
Speak for yourself. Drax gives this very based speech, man. Like Hitler's smiling down on him right now. So yeah. And then Bond and Goodhead. I think if Drax was in a better mood, if Bond hadn't been up to his shenanigans prior to this moment, Hugo Drax would have probably gone, you're a bit on the old side for this sort of these capers, but you know what? If you want, you could be part of my team, man. Because they're already there. They're already a couple. They already got their suits on. Like sign the dotted line, and you can.
The problem is though, like Bond would like bang everyone on the station. Though,
yeah, true. Yeah, Bond would cause a lot of troubles there. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be like literally the downfall of civilization if like the plan.
Yeah.
Like
this is the thing. Like Bond for the great. Yeah. Anyway.
He also. The thing is as well, like I really love how like Drax starts his speech. Like the first thing is like it's not like it's like very like kind of out of the box almost. Like it's not like not like generic. He starts like like first like there was a dream, now there is reality. Kind of. It's like and you guys all helped. Like, but but he kind of like he doesn't go on for too long as well, and it's not like a manic speech. I think it's like it's definitely something you can't put in the bracket of like generic kind of villain speech. I think, and I think the lighting as well helps. The fact it focuses on him almost exclusively, like kind of reminds me a bit of like in like a stage play where it's just like the light goes on like one person, obviously just put the focus, and then like right after he's done, the lights go back on, and then the guy on the announcer is he's doing his job and be like, yeah guys, so I don't know, go to your fucking stations or something, I don't know.
Yeah, and because it's this film effectively is like it's like the Spy Love Me times 10 sort of thing, right? And it is reminiscent because when you watch them back to back, you're like, okay, yeah, Hugo Drax is like, just like Stromberg times 10, like he's
Stromberg,
like,
but cooler.
yeah, exactly, much cooler, but also more elaborate plan, better plan, I think, not like in a good way, but I mean, it makes more sense.
Yeah,
And
I think
anyway,
Stromberg's is more feasible, but this one's cooler.
well, what's Strongbows playing in? Just to start World War Three, basically.
Yeah,
No,
but
I don't really buy that.
this is more. It's more realistic that he'd be able to pull it off without being noticed than this.
I think we're going down a pretty pointless tangent there if we do
Yeah,
that.
because they're both pretty over the top. So
Yeah. Anyway, so Bond and is this when Jaws? No, it's not. So okay,
because he hasn't realized Bond.
Drax sends them away.
Yeah, because
Right.
he doesn't know that Bond and Goodhead are here yet.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah,
mistake.
so they go
Sorry.
down and fuck up the radar thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they go and switch off the radar detection thing,
Yeah,
which
then,
no one notices, by the way. Like no one notices
yeah,
until
the
they go
guy that
check later on. So
yeah, the guy at the computer's like only realizes later on when he asks him to check out.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, oh yeah. By the way, you might just want to check. Can anyone
Oh
see
yeah,
us?
by the way, life support's been off for the last half hour.
Yeah, that's
Die
right.
immediately, like.
Yeah. By the way, we've got 30 seconds of oxygen left. So
Yeah, by the way, like there's a massive hole breach in the next room.
um. Well, anyway, so then okay, so oh yeah, that's right. This is very random. Goggle pops up out of nowhere in this film.
Yeah.
Even he makes an appearance,
Yeah,
right?
because I do like it though, because this would be something that happens, like, because
True.
now that the radar jam is off, everyone on the planet can now see these things in space, like, well, everyone who has radar and all this.
Yeah.
Because then the US would think, oh fuck, the USSR's just put this into space, man. They're gonna like blow us up and then
Yeah.
survive on there. And then the USSR is obviously thinking the same thing. And then they both phone each other, being like, man, what the fuck's going on? They're both like, oh, I can assure you, we didn't put it up there. And he's like, well, we didn't put it up there either. And it's just like, well, let's just the thing that I have to you really have to suspend your disbelief for this is the fact that the US like has like can muster up all this shit in like 10 minutes to send all these guys up on a shuttle.
That's a good point.
With
Yeah, I
all
never
these
thought
with
about
all
that.
these lasers, which Q was testing out, by the way, like in experimental mode, like.
Yeah, that's a great point. I never thought about that.
Because I don't think
Damn.
they had. Obviously, there was the space race, but even by this point, I mean, even if
Mm.
you're thinking historically, I don't think Reagan might have been president by this point, but like they weren't even developing proper space weapons by this point, so
How
it
long
doesn't
would
make
it have?
sense how the US
How
would have.
long? How long? I don't really know. I assume it's a few hours, but how long does it take to get like a rocket from lift off to you know?
Well, the lucky thing is that Moonraker is not as far away as the moon, so it would probably take.
Well, yeah, that's right. Moonraker's pretty close, I think.
It might take at best it would take you like 4 to 8 hours, really. I would guess.
Well, what happens
It would
between
not
now and
take
then?
however little it
Yeah, it's pretty. They
takes.
pretty get up there in about half an hour, don't they? Yeah, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it is unrealistically fast, but
Yeah, I never thought about that. Well, anyway, so yeah, oh yeah, and Drax starts launching the globes as well. The globes
yeah,
of
because
um,
I like the thing
gas.
because they both. I love that when they're just going through all these like tubes like from different parts of the station, especially the bit where it's in zero gravity where like it's silent again and they're just going through doing
Oh yeah,
spacewalk stuff.
yeah.
The only thing is that I found weird with that is it looks like there's a door missing on like the thing. Do you ever see that?
No, no.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the way it is shot. I don't know. But like the second time, like they see the globe go off, and then not Drax, Jaws is behind them, just being like, yeah, he
Oh
smiles,
yeah, that's great.
smiles at the other.
I do want to say, just as a little side note, the actual design of the globes are so cool, man.
They
Like the
are cool,
hexagonal, so cool. I'd like to just buy like a small version and just have it on my desk, sort of thing. Just be like,
yeah, like a lamp kind of.
yeah, or like even as like a paperweight or something,
Yeah. The other
But
thing
anyway,
is as well, like,
Yeah.
like, because they have a little fight here. Jaws is the most like fucking stupid thing possible. He like rips a bit of the station, like like I'm like, mate, you are going to kill everyone in here. Like,
That's the thing about Joe. I think that's the thing about Joe. He's extremely low IQ as well. To be fair, isn't he? That's like sort of the point of his character as well.
yeah, I know, but still, but I'm like I watched that.
Although that is quite amusing because he's in charge of everything as well, isn't he? They always put him in charge.
he's
I don't know if
head.
that's too fit. I think people just like see him and they kind of assume
'Cause
he's
there's
like clever
probably,
for
like,
some reason. Because like like in the last film, Chandor, you obey his instructions, and then Jaws is like
this
leading
one,
the team of guys on the Amazon River as well,
yeah, it's
right?
probably like there's probably a team leader, but they probably don't listen to him because they're scared of this guy. Like,
Yeah,
what happened to them if they like disobey him?
yeah, good point. Yeah, they're all just scared of him. They'll just do what he says.
Which is why they always fuck up. Because they're following.
Yeah.
Not
That
following
makes
the
sense.
smartest guy around, are they?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so Bond. Oh yeah, and Bond tries to kick him in the nuts, and
Yeah,
then is met with a metal clang. So
yeah. So yeah, he has balls of steel, quite literally.
yeah. Um, and then obviously, why have I written this? I've written here embraces master race.
Well, that's what like Drax says. Well, like Bond is like he's talking about like his master race, and then Bond's like,
Yeah.
oh well, anyone who's not measuring up to your
Yeah.
standards, Jaws, and he's just
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
yeah, will be gotten rid of, right? And then
Yeah.
like Jaws, but I like you see like Jaws like putting like two and two together in his head.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like grinning, and then he's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're
fuck.
literally seeing like his brain cells like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to remember why I wrote embraces there.
I
That's
don't
annoying.
know.
Never mind. So then Jaws basically turns good. Because Drax they're like, expel them.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I love
loses his
that
shit,
bit.
man, for the first
Expel
and only
them,
time.
it's like you obey me. Like, I mean, like I like the Drax gets that bit, like where he does snap for a second.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's so effective because he's so calm all the time, and then it's like, whoa,
yeah,
shit.
yeah, and
So
then
he
like
shouts at Jaws, yeah.
yeah,
Which he doesn't take kindly. So he goes and starts fighting everyone.
because
No one
Jaws
has
can also see
weapons on
his
this. No one. The only weapon on this. And now I wonder if Hugo Drax is also a bit of a pacifist in some crude way, because in some twisted way, because the only weapons they've got are tasers on this
well, no,
ship.
they do have lasers as well later on.
Oh
So
yeah. So why don't they just wipe? Why? Yeah, I don't know.
well, probably because they had like in case of emergency break glass kind of for all of these like lasers later on because they didn't really
Maybe.
need them.
Yeah. Maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now we have the space laser fight.
Yeah.
Obviously Bond stops the gravity simulation thing, so they're all floating around. Drax, interestingly enough, is the only one who sort of keeps his footing. So
Yeah.
even in that sense, he's like this sort of dignified sort of guy. Whatever.
Yeah, this is like, is this where like, yeah, because I didn't get it. This is like when Bond turns up the gravity, like,
Yeah.
there's a guy pointing a gun to his head, and he
Yeah.
doesn't do anything. Is the guy like blind or something?
Well, they all fall over and then they lose.
But if he wouldn't have been able to do it, they just get shot immediately. There's a lot of instances where Bond's held at gunpoint, but he doesn't. He's shit.
Yeah. Bond just like tries his luck. At the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
like it's trying to save the world, isn't it? So,
True.
um,
I love yeah. There's the
yeah.
thing as well. Well, actually, I'll bring that up later for yours. So
Well, there's a lot of filler here, which is just like this
lot of
like
for I don't know, for like the I don't think it means slag off Americans, but for the American audience, all the, like the lasers shooting around and shit, which
yeah,
is
it's
like
just really
I
like
don't really care for it, to be honest.
no, nor do I. I think you could just cut that out and it'd be way better. I don't need to see
Well,
that.
I'm glad they don't
Inside,
go on-
it's funny because inside the ship, it looks a lot. Doesn't look great, but it's a hell of a lot better than when
Cooler.
it's actually in space and they're all like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like, come on, man.
But I'm glad that they kept. I still think they kept that outside fighting down to a minimum though, because it's only on for like 2 minutes. And the thing, there is
Yeah.
a cool part in it where like they're trying to dock the shuttle at the same time without it getting destroyed. I think that's
Mhm.
kind of cool. So
Yeah, even so, I think you could have cut all that and
it does
it'd just
make
been
you
a bit better.
question. It does make you question though why they had like an extra
A
space
spare one, yeah,
for
yeah, that's
more
true.
shuttles. It's like I thought you built this for 6, not 7. You know.
Yeah, but
And
never mind.
how come conveniently a US one can
Oh, yeah,
dock it?
actually, that reminds me. I forgot
Like
to mention
it's incompatible.
when Bond goes to Drax, he's like, yeah, by the way, why did you hijack your own ship earlier? Which is a great question.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
'Cause
he's
it's
like,
like
oh yeah, one of them just had a little fault in it, so I had to like
yeah.
edit it
That's the thing
back.
is I'm like,
That's very like, oh, okay. So if that hadn't happened, we'd be
you'd have
talking
easily done it.
German.
Yeah.
So,
We wouldn't have all been jumped. We'd all be dead, man.
yeah, I'm joking.
Also, Drax does have people of all races on there, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Worth pointing out. So at least he's not a racist.
exactly.
You know.
It's just that almost all of them are white.
Yeah, vast majority.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't know what he was thinking, but
yeah, this guy's very conflicted. Well, yeah. Let's not go there anyway.
yeah,
Um, so anyway, actually, Bond kills Drax.
yeah.
Um, and this is a moment again where I
Great
was like,
bit,
yeah,
man.
this is it where I'm like, yeah, Bond's dead. Although you know what I did question now, first time I noticed watching this, I'm like, where was Drax running?
I don't know.
Like
Really.
he didn't because he picks up the gun by chance. There's just a
Yeah.
body next to him. He's like, oh, okay, I'll have that. He doesn't have he's not armed. He's just running towards the airlock.
Maybe he's just
So
going to kill himself, like
yeah, Hitler style, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Well, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, he's like he's running to the airlock, and then yeah, maybe he is about to kill himself because he goes, well, at least I have the chance. 'Cause I think he's like, yeah, it's game over, man. He's just like, all right,
yeah.
well,
There's
at
nothing.
least I get the
Can't
chance to
fly
take you
away.
down with me, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, because like I love the bit like because you do hear like lasers go around the background, or it's just like stuff, electrical stuff
Yeah,
fucking up. Where he's like walking backwards, like because he
yeah,
thinks he's cornered. And
yeah,
it's like the red lighting as well, kind of like
yeah.
that, and
Very
like his face as well. Like he's like
Yeah,
slightly sweating and
that's
like
right. His hair's a little bit out of place for the first time, and you're like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's like he's lost his shit, kind of. But he's still like internally he's lost his shit, but he's still like keeping up like the facade kind of.
yeah, that's right.
It's like cool. I love the thing is like at least I have the joy of putting you out of my misery, like kind of.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Again, just so well spoken. But then, of course, and I remember as a kid, man, I'm like, Bond's going to die, and then at the he just raises his arm. And what I love about this gadget is you completely forget he's wearing it,
Yeah, exactly.
and just boom like that, and he kills Drax.
Yeah,
And but not before he can say, like, oh, take take a giant leap for mankind.
yeah, exactly. Right out
Sends
there.
him out into the airlock. So yeah, great. And
Him
from
for the death.
from intro to death, Drax is just so cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, they have
Very, very, very underrated, overlooked Bond villain for sure. But
probably.
we'll see where we rank him. I'm curious to see where we'll rank him, to be
Would you
honest.
say maybe the best more Bond villain death so far? Because he's had two
Oh,
really
okay,
bad
so far.
ones, and then like Scaramanga.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was between this and Scaramanga, in it. We'll see. We're going to rank them, so
Well, we're
that's
ranking the
interesting.
villains, so yeah.
Yeah, but the death is kind of a little bit in part of that,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
That's all part of the pot.
Exactly. Okay, so then Bond. Sorry. Okay, so now like all shit's like broken loose. The Americans are no man left behind. Not the case anymore. They leave Bond and Goodhead behind.
Yeah, but that's because the corridor's blocked off; they can't get through. So
I don't
that's
think that
what
would
they
have stopped
say.
them in Nam. But anyway,
Well, anyway.
they go and so they kind of like everyone's dead apart from Bond, Goodhead, Jaws, and his girlfriend.
Yeah,
And they find a bottle of champagne, and
I
I love how
love this bit, man.
Jaws
Like, you get
opens it with his teeth. It's just like,
Jaws is the only line ever. Is like, well, here's for us.
Here's
Here's
to
for
us.
us, actually, yeah. So
Yeah. I just love how he opens the cork with his teeth.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
I love that. It's so good.
It's like yeah. I don't know how he found this bottle of Bollinger here.
No,
Like,
Well, maybe Drax is getting ready to like
Yeah.
crack it open. You know.
office party, you know, in space.
Yeah, that's right. Office orgy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And then they sort of see James Bond and Goodhead. Jaws basically
Okay.
helps them get away.
Yeah,
like-
because oh man, the safety locks
Gear,
engagement
whatever.
becomes
Yeah, is stuck.
totally, you know,
So
just like,
so
no
Jaws helps them.
problem. You can use a manual. You know.
Yeah, and this is really bullshit. But yeah, because it's Jaws, you're happy. But you know, like just one part of the ship that Jaws is on snaps away.
They're like perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly. It's the only bit that snaps off. And then immediately after the whole ship blows up. And also, like, how is that thing gonna like get through Earth's atmosphere and land? Like, no parachute, no like
Well, they had
afterburner.
to
It's
bring it
nothing.
up into space, so it has to be some sort of like flameproof shielding, kind of,
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. But
because it has to have thermal shielding of some kind.
yeah,
Especially
yeah, that's true. But
this
like,
is meant to be like the
presumably that's only designed for one journey, not two. You know.
well, no, because like if it's but this thing's also going to be in space at some point,
That thing
like
just
for an
falls
arc of
to Earth, though. Would it not? Perhaps into
but
orbit?
think about it, for the arc of human. I know it won't go back down to Earth, but for the arc of humanity, like if it will end up like something goes wrong and for a bit they're like going towards Earth and they have to bring it back up, you will need thermal shielding on it, and you will need it to shield from the heat of the sun as well because you don't have so much
Yeah,
protection.
yeah, that's fair. But I still don't buy that. Like Jaws and his
Yeah, but man,
girlfriend.
you're
Like, what's
talking
her
about
name?
like
Dolly. I
you
think her
don't
name's Dolly, isn't it?
you're talking about you don't buy Jaw surviving stuff. Like what you want about?
Yeah, actually,
He
yeah, I stand
survived
corrected.
everything, and
I'm
I
wrong.
think
Jaws can totally fall to Earth from space. Yeah, you're right. It's just for me, it's just like it just is perfectly sealed off. That's my thing. But then yeah, with the
that's what I
tunnels and
would
stuff,
do.
maybe airlocks. So okay.
But he, yeah, maybe there's internal
And I
airlock.
do like that later on they go on the radio. It's like, oh, we picked up a tall man and a small blonde woman. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
The
yeah.
thing is, as well as what
So,
I found that was kind of funny with this is like, Jaws was like he as even though he was a henchman and villain in the previous film, like a lot of kids like really like looked up to him almost. So like
yeah,
there were Eon Productions got so many letters from
yeah,
like
yeah. That's right.
kids who were like saying like can Jaws be like a goodie, so they turned him into
Yeah,
one, which I
I
think
love
is kind
that.
of great.
I love
Like
that.
survives, man. He's the only Bond henchman who just like lives, and he has a happy
Yeah,
ending and everything. So yeah.
I love that. And yeah, it's so good. And it's like, all right, within the realm of like Jaws being there in the first place, the way it's believable, you know,
Yeah,
within,
exactly. And that's the
yeah.
thing as well. Like it
And you
solidifies.
feel good for him. He's just like a genuine arc. You're like, yeah, that's nice, man, you know.
Yeah. And the thing
Although
is
it's
that
funny how, because in The Spy Love Me, he does kill people. In this film, he doesn't kill anyone, so it's a bit
yeah, that's what
easier
I
as
was
well,
thinking.
you know,
Like,
to
yeah,
buy
and
into that.
I like how this properly solidifies the fact that like Jaws never dies. Like you can't
Yeah,
kill no matter what. Like
yeah, literally. Um, anyway, now we
yeah,
get to just like one of the coolest
yeah.
finales of a Bond film as well. I love this
The
because of the
music as
music.
well a bit.
I love this
'Cause it,
because of the music, like the tension. They've
and the
got to go and
effects
hunt down three globes. Goodhead is piloting it. Bond is like, and they're
shooting.
firing. Bond's just pushing the button
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fire them.
Bond's doing what he does best, just shooting.
No, this is what I really like because they're going destroying the globes,
Yeah,
and
the
there's one
first two were
left.
easy.
And Bond, at the end of the day, Bond is saving the world, and even though it's all sci-fi, it's all space, it's all out there, it's
Down to
all
how
over the
good of a
top.
shot he is.
All it comes down to is Bond as a marksman.
Yeah,
What's his marksmanship like? Because he
yeah,
misses at one point. She goes, "It's the last chance now," and then he
yeah.
fucking does it.
Because that thing's entering Earth's atmosphere. They at
Yeah,
the angle they're going are like gonna destroy the ship and burn up. And I love
that's
like
right.
everything's red like in the cockpit.
Yeah,
Like they are sweating like so fucking
yeah.
hard.
And
Like
and the funny thing is, that's just filmed like in some like room somewhere, man. Like
I know,
whatever.
but it's so good.
So
Like I really like it.
look
Like
on his face, you know, it's just
even though
so
like
good.
you've seen it before, like I really
Yeah,
it really gets you into it, man.
I think the score is superb as
Yeah,
well, isn't it?
exactly.
It's just like
I
builds
like
the
the way
tension. Right?
because like after all like the space fighting and so on, this is a great way to end it, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And it's just you know, and I just like how it all just boils back down to Bond's marksmanship.
Yeah.
I think that's so good. It's just such a basic like, you know, thing, and but actually at the end of the day, that's what saves the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we tie it off nicely with the call to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, the guy.
And
Yeah, because they're like streaming this like from the White House and Buckingham Palace. Like,
And yeah,
probably
on
what took some
Twitch and
years off the
everything. Yeah,
Queen's.
man, it's like it's all there, man. Like live stream it, like, and then yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
Bond
Honestly,
having
James.
space sex. You
I mean,
know.
I must have. This must have been what took a few years off the Queen's life. You know, why she didn't make it to 100.
Yeah.
Just seeing this like first thing on the TV.
It's fantastic, and the reaction, and Q doesn't even notice as well. That's what I love. Like the line is like, I think he's attempting a re-entry, so you know he's not looking at the screen. It's so funny, man.
Yeah, like
Yeah, M and everything. Unfortunately, M's last scene, but very memorable all the same. And she goes, you know, oh, take me around the world one more time. It's just great. The music and stuff. It's just great,
and
man.
yeah, like
This is-
I love the best part is
oh,
like it's literally the shutter going to the sunset, like almost like over the
yeah, yeah. It's just perfect. This is just it's just such a nice. Just put the ribbon on it at the end, and
Yeah.
it's what a great Bond film,
what a
man.
good ending, man.
Yeah.
Because like you like because this thing finishes and you're just happy, you know.
Yeah, literally. It's just like proper feel good Bond film, you know. Now we're going to do the rankings.
Yep.
So, let's see. First of all, Bond actor. I'm going to take advantage of the fact Tom's here, and I'm going to fully push for Roger Moore #1 now.
I still well, you're gonna have to consult Tom with us afterwards, but because we will obviously return in For Your Eyes Only. We'll maybe like rejig these around from Tom's absence. But
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. But I mean,
I'm
I
not.
don't care. Roger
I
Moore
will not
has
let
to
you
go
put,
#1 after
I will
this.
not let you put him #1 for now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And Tom's got to make a case for when he comes back. Tom's going to make a case. Okay.
We'll see what he thinks.
Because this is like the ultimate, like this is the ultimate Roger Moore for James Bond film, man. Spy Love Me as well, but this is just like something really special, man. I love it, absolutely love it. So Bond actor now, Roger Moore, #1, #2, Sean Connery, #3, George Lazenby. Subjects change when Tom finds out and loses his shit, but
Yeah.
sorry, mate. Bond girl.
This is
We
a
have in
good
this film
one.
Holly Goodhead, and she's going up against #1, Tracy, #2, Triple X, #3, Domino, #4, Honey Rider, #5, Miss Anders, #6, Tatiana, #7, Aki and the Wife, #8, Pussy Galore, #9, Tiffany Case, #10, Solitaire, #11, Goodnight. Where are we going to rank Holly Goodhead?
I'd put her below Triple X, probably just third.
Interesting.
Because
It's
like,
weird because she's not great, but a lot of these aren't.
yeah.
I agree with you.
The
I
thing
think
is, there's no negatives to her. I think that's the main thing.
she falls for Bond a bit too easy.
That's really it. But it's not like
That's it.
embarrassing, kind of. And also,
No, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not embarrassing. I think it would have been cool if she told him to fuck off, whatever as well though. Like when she finds out she's a she's a CIA agent, then she goes, get out of here, man. I think that would have been interesting. But then
then it would
it's
ruin
not
the
serious.
film.
If it was a more serious film, sure. But then because it's in the context of this film where everything's like all good, it's like it works, doesn't it? Okay, so Holly Goodhead goes #3.
Everyone's friends in this film, like.
That's right. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be interesting. The villain, #1, Donald Pleasance Blofeld. #2, Goldfinger. #3, Blofeld, Telly Savalas. #4, Scaramanga. #5, Dr. Kananga. #6, Dr. No. #7, Rosa Klebb. #8, Largo. #9, Stromberg. #10, Charles Gray Blofeld. Where are we putting Hugo Drax?
I think I put him above Scaramanga.
Yeah, I agree. Does he go higher than that, perhaps? Or is there like that invisible dotted line, which I feel is definitely formed after this?
Who's above Scaramanga?
Telly Savalas Blofeld.
Oh,
Interesting. They actually have quite similar plots, actually, now that I think about it.
I mean,
Very similar.
the only thing is, I think that Ted Savalas' Blofeld does better. It's fact he has like a proper fight with Bond, which
That's true.
like Blofeld and most villains don't really get to have.
Yeah, I think we've got to keep our heads screwed on here. I think, Hugo Drax goes 4th. That's very fair, I think. Has a very cool name as well, I must say.
True,
Hugo
yeah.
Drax. That's sick.
Very, very good. His delivery, man. He really makes this film as well. Like,
very memorable, yeah. Henchman, #1, Jaws, #2, Odd Job, #3, Red Grant, #4, Teehee and Co, #5, Bunt, #6, Winton Kid, #7, Knick Knack, #8, Fiona, #9, Hands. Jaws.
I still stand by Red Grant's better than all of them, but
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But Jaws is number one, though, right?
Well, yeah, you
not-
and Tom will say that, but
Yeah, of course. Interesting that Red Grant comment. How are we doing for time? Should we go into that a little bit, or?
well, this is just going to end up being about 2 hours.
Okay, well, yeah. If you want
I
to
have
talk about
5
Red Grant
minutes.
for a moment, because I'm a bit curious to think why you would do that.
Well, like I said, I genuinely like Jaws. Like I like to see him on screen, but he's not like in The Spy Love Me. He was more threatening. In this, like he's more of a comedic character. I really like that. Red Grant is probably the best in terms of like an actual threat to Bond because like he really could have killed him multiple times. I mean,
Mhm.
he saves his life just so that he can have this proper showdown with him later on. And
Yeah.
like Bond genuinely doesn't know. He fooled him into thinking he's another agent with him, like, and he has that great fight. He is probably I think best trained fight in my opinion.
hmm
Um,
hmm
and like he like 'cause this is also Sean Connery's Bond, who's probably apart from Daniel Craig the most physically like imposing one, and
True.
he puts him through the rinse like the wash man. Like he like yeah he's so like by the end of that fight, he is so like destroyed. Kind of, he has no energy to make a pun on it. Like he's just like man, he's like just lucky to be alive. Like and that whole film kind of lynches around Red Grant really. Like
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Um, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
he
it
has his
is.
own
Yeah,
gadget.
yeah.
He has his own set of gadgets as well. Just saying.
But I think it's just like in terms of like a memorable. I mean, he is memorable, like Jaws and Odd Job.
Yeah, I know, but that's only because they're so larger than life. Like
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
for Red Grant,
For
he
like a
literally
grounded one, like if you look, yeah, that whole like series versus, Animated Girls versus, yeah. You're right. You're right. Okay. What about the car/vehicle? I want to nominate. I want to put that boat in here.
yeah. Well,
Not the
it's just a boat
Gondo.
and a hang glider, really.
Yeah, not the Gondo. Although that could actually we could rank them. Well, let's rank them both for the
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, all right, go on.
Number one, Aston Martin DB5. Number two, Little Nelly. Number three, the Lotus. Number four, the Moon Buggy.
I
Where
think
would you put the boats? First of all, let's do the Gondo.
okay. I'm gonna put the gondola above the
Gondola, sorry. Where?
I'm gonna put the gondola above the moon buggy and the boat above the gondola.
Yeah,
I
why
think
not? That sounds good.
because I love the way the Lotus looks and all the gadgets that comes with it. So and the scenes
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, Lotus is just iconic. You can't not have that. Um, number one, Bernard Lee. Sadly for the last time, but
Yep.
I think. Well, we'll see. Q number one, Desmond Llewellyn. Moneypenny number one, Lois Maxwell. The ally / Felix Leiter. Who's the ally in this film? We don't really have one, I don't think, do
yeah,
we?
because
Significant one.
good
Can we skip
Hollywood
that?
head is
Okay, now Henry, the gadget. Number one, Live and Let Die Rolex. Number two, the attaché case. Number three, the cigarette. Number four, Oddjob's hat. Number five, the rebreather. Number six, the Wolf PPK. Number seven, the mousetrap.
yeah. I
I
really
want to put the dart gun number one, honestly.
yeah. I was gonna like
Straight
think
up.
maybe there are better ones, but no, I'll let you do this.
Yeah, because it
It's so
saves his
good.
bacon twice, and like where no other gadget would.
Mm.
Apart from maybe the cigarette. But the cigarette wouldn't save him in the.
Yeah, this would be a no smoking station, so I'd shoot him for that.
Yeah, true. So yeah, the dart gun number one. Yeah, it has to be, man.
Yeah.
I don't think Tom would disagree either on that.
No, I don't think you would.
The theme song, number one, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number two, the James Bond theme. Number three, Live and Let Die. Number four, Goldfinger. Number five, You Only Live Twice. Number six, The Man with the Golden Gun. Number seven, Thunderball. Number eight, The Spy Love Me. Number nine, Diamonds Are Forever. Number 10, From Russia with Love. Where are we going to put Moonraker? Performed by Shirley Bassey.
This one does not really go that far up for me. It might even go like below Nobody Does It Better, I think.
Yeah, I forgot that's the name of the song. I need to rename it. Nobody Does It Better. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think Nobody Does It Better is better than this. Does it go above or below Diamonds Are Forever? Diamonds Are. No, I don't think Moonraker's slightly better.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? How Shirley Bassey's such a famous like singer for the Bond films, and we've put two of her songs really low.
Yeah, because they're just
Yeah,
they're not
Goldfinger's
like
just To be fair, I think with these she's still dining off Goldfinger a lot. So
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So
The opening sequence. Number 1, The Spy Loved Me, the ski chase. Number 2, Goldfinger. Number 3, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 4, The Man with the Golden Gun. Number 5, From Russia with Love. Number 6, You Only Live Twice. Number 7, Thunderball. Number 8, Live and Let Die. Number 9, Diamonds Are Forever.
all right,
The
you might
Skydive.
you might
Does
kill
this
me for
go
this,
number
but
1?
I want to put it for third.
Third?
Yeah, because
Wow.
I love just remember how good the Goldfinger one was. Because like for what it had to do as well, it's assuming no one's seen like a Bond film before. It sets him up in like 5 minutes, like the great music, him with like the dinner jacket underneath the scuba suit, man. He like walks in, sets up explosives, man. Walks into a club, just chilling with his like contact there. Thing blows off in the background as he's checking his watch. Puts on a cigarette, man. You know. It doesn't end with the guy falling into a circus, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it does fall with him using a woman as a human shield.
Yeah,
And
but
then
that's because she's trying to get him
frying
killed
guy.
as well.
Yeah.
And it ends with the punch.
This is so. Come on, man. What about when he goes, a little premature, isn't it? And then, like,
I know, but
fights.
it's not
Jaws.
the same.
Okay,
I
yeah.
prefer the same kind of one.
You know what I will say? I think the stuntman, the obviousnness of the stuntman, is
Yeah.
like a little bit. It does. It annoys me that I noticed that now. But I think, yeah, third is. Ooh, the music is so good though. But then the music in Goldfinger is really good as well. This is where we need Tom to help us decide. We'll come back to it and we'll ask Tom on the next episode.
We'll
I'll put it
ask
in
him.
at the third for now, and then we'll see if what he has to
Now
say.
the film. Is this the film?
No, Henry,
Oh.
come on, man. We have the
Oh,
Sigma
So
moment.
how
first.
could I?
How could you? Number 1, Goldfinger, I Own the Club. Number 2, Red Grant. Number 3, Blofeld Extortion. Number 4, Dr. No. Number 5, I Need You. So does England. Number 6, Tracy, I'm Already a Countess. Number 7, Scaramanga. Oops. Number 8, Blofeld, Prepare My Battle Submarine. Number 9, David Niven. Number 10, Names of the Tombstones Baby. And number 11, King and Country.
I think we all know what it's gonna be.
We do, but I do want to say like how much of a Sigma Hugo Drax is.
Yeah,
And
for real.
if it wasn't for this one quote, Hugo Drax would be like on this list. But it has to be.
Did I?
Did I? You missed Mr. Bond.
I love that so much. Where would it go though? What do you think?
Second.
Correct me. What was the one below? Second.
Red Grant.
Nah, gotta put it. Actually, no. All right, you can put it second. Red Grant is a Sigma male, but this is just taking the cake.
Yeah, exactly. You missed Mr. Bond. The delivery is so good, man.
It's
And you know what?
perfect, man.
The ultimate, like, the acid test is the fact that you could definitely put the music over this and it would work. You know what I mean? As he walks off, man.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to rank the film. Number 1, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2, Goldfinger. Number 3, The Spy Loved Me. Number 4, You Only Live Twice. Number 5, The Man with the Golden Gun. Number 6, Live and Let Die. Number 7, Dr. No. Number 8, From Russia with Love. Number 9, Thunderball. Number 10, Diamonds Are Forever. Number 11, Casino Royale.
Are you telling me From Russia with Love is 8th?
Yeah. It won't stay there, though. We got a hell of a lot of
Is
shit.
You Only Live
films coming.
Twice above it, I think.
Yeah, You Only Live Twice is 4th.
Wait, what? What are all the films between that and From Russia with Love?
Number 4 is You Only Live Twice. Number 5 is The Man with the Golden Gun. Number 6 is Live and Let Die. Number 7 is Dr. No. And then you have From Russia with Love.
Wait, you two, oh man, you two have robbed me. What is wrong with you two?
We blindsided you, man.
The thing is, I remembered it as You Only Live Twice was just above From Russia with Love. I was gonna say I was gonna put Moonraker below From Russia with Love, but now that you've sandwiched all these,
Are you
now that you
kidding?
sandwiched all these films between them, I can't.
No, you can't.
All right, you
But
know,
no
I'll say
chance. Moonraker. I was, like on a certain day in a certain mood. I
will
think
say it's,
Moonraker is my favorite of all
but
these
this is
films.
the
But
thing. You look
favorite
at
best is a different thing.
this is what I'm saying. Like, I think it's a question for me. It's not. It's no. There's to me. There's no question if it's better or. I don't think it is better than The Spy Love Me. I think it's a
Oh, I think
question of is it better than You Only Live Twice? And I
No, I
think,
think this is better than Spy Love Me as well.
I think it's better than You Only Live Twice, but not as good as The Spy Love Me. Because the
For
thing
me,
is, it's
they're very
it's about-
close. I think what makes the difference for me though is the fact that the villain is far better.
yeah, I think it's the fact that you have to suspend your disbelief so much throughout this film.
Mm.
That's the thing.
That's true, but if you're looking at the main differences, like the real separate things, and
You've
you're
got,
looking at
I
things
think
that
you've
like
just got,
significantly, but I think just you think about Hugo Drax versus Stromberg.
yeah, but you also think, I
What?
prefer like Agent Triple X over Dr. Holly Goodhead, and among like other things, you've
Yeah,
got
I don't think there's really
got
much in
much
that one
better
though, is there?
chases. I think Jaws is a lot better in The Spy Love Me as a threat, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I
because he
think
actually
he's
is
like equal. Yeah, but
going
okay, but then in this film
yeah.
you've got like his arc, man. Like, do you not enjoy
Yeah,
that?
I know, but it's like if I want to watch something for Jaws, I will watch The Spy Love Me easily.
Ah,
He's an
interesting.
actual henchman in that, like
Interesting. For me, if I was to meet someone who has never watched a Bond film,
I would not send them into Moonraker first
I
thing.
would. Moonraker would be right up there. That'd be like one of the first ones you should see. Like I would say, it would be in my package of like, okay, you got Goldfinger, and then I would choose between Moonraker and The Spy Love Me. Personally, I like Moonraker more.
I mean, I think we're gonna have to consult Tom on this.
Okay, now I'm going to throw this at you. Tom would put Moonraker above The Spy Love Me, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you can't speak on his behalf of this one. I think we're just gonna have to ask him.
We will. But I think I'm right though. He would
Nah,
put Moonraker above The Spy Love
I
Me.
hope not. You two are savages, man. I can't
So
believe you
therefore,
Promotion with Love eighth, and you like I completely like flew over my head,
yeah,
man.
you let it happen. Well,
I didn't let
Love's
it happen.
ninth
I was
now,
fighting
bitch.
for that film, man. What have you
Russia
done
Love's
to me?
going ninth now, bitch. For now, I'm going to put Moonraker third, and
You're
then
gonna end up having in double digits, man.
if Tom disagrees, then we'll change it.
Yeah. We
But I
might
think he
very.
won't.
Ooh.
So Moonraker going third, below Goldfinger, and above The Spy Love Me.
No.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
And we will come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to it, but for now, that's how it is. And to be honest, Henry, if I was now, if you're asking me if you're sending me to a desert island, and I can only take one DVD with me, I'd be very tempted to take Moonraker. Of all of these films that we reviewed so far, Moonraker would probably be the one I'd go to that desert island with. Actually, it's just
can't
pure
relate.
entertainment. That's why
I
pure
can't.
entertainment. There's not a single boring moment in the film. It's just like constantly like making me
Uh,
laugh, making me excited, making me think he's like it's like a lot
No,
of stuff
well,
going on.
there are moments as well. Like, I mean, also like you brought up the bit of the sacrificial lamb, man. They completely gloss
That's what
over
I
that.
mean. It's even got a tragedy, man. It's got everything in this
Yeah, but
film.
the thing is, they have the most tragic thing, and they never bring it up ever again. Bond doesn't even know she died.
Yeah, that's
She
sad.
saved the world, and no one
That's
cares.
what I mean. It even gets you thinking about deep shit like that, man.
Nah, fuck off, man.
Like, is
You're
Bond
taking.
really the hero? What would the world be like if Hugo Drax got his way?
Yeah, well, what would the
Makes you
world be like
think.
if everyone
That's what
treated women
the
like
best
Bond?
science fiction does, Henry. But I
Yeah,
must say as
yeah.
well, I've had a real science fiction week as well because I rewatched Blade Runner again for like the millionth time in the week. I've been watching Captain Scarlet, as you know, as well. Then we were watching Moonraker as part of a Bond series. So I've been like my head, and I don't even consider myself a massive sci-fi fan, but for some reason I've been like
Yeah, you love
immersed in
this
it this
film, man.
week.
I
So
mean, I can respect that you love this film.
yeah,
But personally, I also really like it, but it's not in the top for me. So
yeah, for me it's easily top 5 Bond films, if not top 3.
yeah,
But like I say, we'll come back to it because next week we come crashing back down to earth with what's it called, For Your Eyes Only, which I'll make no secret about it is my least favorite Bond film. I hate it. I'm dreading it.
yeah.
Before we agreed to film this
Yeah, you
series,
wanted
me
to
and Henry,
not do it.
yeah, I was trying to talk my way out of it, but it's not going to happen. So I am dreading that, ladies and gentlemen. But you got to do what you got to do. So we'll be back next week.
With
So
your eyes open.
join us then, and we'll be back hopefully with Tom. Same bat time, same bat channel.